other talent you had around it. Yeah, you had a great offense. But I love the option game. But this gives you an opportunity. If you do have the quarterback to throw the football, they got people spread out.
Well, I'm telling you, there's plenty of weapons on the offensive side of the ball for Oklahoma. I think even you would have thrown the ball a little bit with all the receivers Sam Bradford could throw it to. So I'm just guessing. Now we got a few more points coming your way from Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. But time right now to On America with the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes stand bright stars through the perilous fights. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave, the free, and the home of the brave.
That little guy's so excited, he doesn't even want to take his seat quite yet. I understand that. All right, guys, it is prediction time. Barry Switzer, I'm going to ask the obvious. Who do you like?
I like Oklahoma, but I tell you what, the players they've lost concerns me. It really does.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma. I just don't know that West Virginia has enough offense throwing the football to stay with this Oklahoma team.
All right. Well, Jimmy and Barry, we will get your thoughts on the first half. We will see you again at the Southwest Airlines halftime show. But coming up next, it is game time. Matt Vasgersian, Pat Hayden, Terry Donahue, Laura Oakland will have the call of West Virginia and Oklahoma. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl live from Glendale, Arizona. Next on Fox.
The Built Ford Tough BCS pregame show on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
To the 37th annual Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Tonight, it's the number 9 Mountaineers of West Virginia and the 4th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Alongside Terry Donahue and Pat Hayden, Matt Vasgersian, welcome to Glendale, Arizona, a game, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, that's known for its high-powered offense over the years, and in West Virginia and Oklahoma, 2 of the nation's most prolific scoring teams. Pat, we start with OU. The number 3 scoring offense in the land is guided by a talented freshman quarterback, Sam Bradford.
And you know, Matt, I don't think the Oklahoma coaches really knew what they had when they gave him the ball to start the season September 8th. You know, redshirt freshman, don't know what to expect. He played brilliantly. 34 touchdown passes on the year, set a freshman record with touchdown passes in 34, was incredibly efficient, led the nation in passing efficiency, didn't get sacked much, only 11 sacks, protected the ball with just 7 interceptions, and I think, kind of managed the game much higher than a freshman you would expect. And if that's not too good to be true, he has a 4.0 GPA and made the Big 12 all-academic team.
Well, for West Virginia, it has been an eventful month in Morgantown. They don't come here with quite as much energy as the Sooners do. They lose their regular season finale, lose a chance at the national championship game. They lose their head coach to Michigan. Coach Donahue, I ask you, it's going to be a tough task for West Virginia. Interim coach Bill Stewart, however, does still have 2 of the most exciting players in the country, in Pat White and Steve Slayton.
Well, no question about it. West Virginia is built for speed, and more speed. Pat White, the quarterback, is a phenomenal athlete. This guy has accounted for 24 touchdowns this season, running and throwing. And Steve Slayton, the tailback, he's a 1,000-yard rusher. But more importantly, this guy has been in the end zone 55 times in his career here at West Virginia. I think Steve Slayton at the tailback position, Pat White at the quarterback position, they will be a handful for the Oklahoma defense.
2 teams that really feel like they've got something to prove here in Arizona. The Mountaineers have never won in this state. In fact, their last visit to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl was a shot at the national championship. They lost in '89 to Notre Dame. And for Oklahoma, who could forget the marriage proposals and the Statue of Liberty of last year? They want to get past that as well.
Yeah, they've been tired of seeing that replay over and over again, and they've lost 3 straight BCS games. But they are playing the last part of the season. Oklahoma was playing as well as anybody in the country.
Blowouts have been something of a reluctant theme in the bowl season this year. There was a lopsided score yesterday in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Today, you've got 2 offenses, Coach, that can really run with each other.
Well, I think it's important for West Virginia that they play even early in the game. If they get way behind, they're not a very good throwing team. They are a running team. If they can play well early and hang into this game as an underdog, they will give Oklahoma all they want.
Another theme has been interim coaches not having success in the postseason, in the bowl season. Interim coaches 0-6 in their bowl games. Coach Donahue, I go right back to you. How does that affect the Mountaineers today?
Well, Bill Stewart, the interim coach, he's excited about this opportunity. He has done a great job, I think, keeping the team together and really building up to this game. It's going to be hard for him, though. No question about it. Rich Rodriguez is going to be missed at West Virginia.
What changes on the field, if anything? Now, Rich Rodriguez called the plays.
Yeah, he was intimately involved with the play call. And now, Coach McGee is the offensive coordinator. He is still here, although he's headed to Michigan after this game. But there will be a little bit difference in the play calling.
Well, here come the Big East champion, West Virginia Mountaineers. Rodriguez 4-0. A loss to South Florida set them back, but their national championship hopes were still alive with a string of victories over ranked teams. Wins over 25th ranked Rutgers within the Big East. Number 22 Cincinnati and number 20 Connecticut to win another Big East title had them looking at a chance for the BCS national championship. But a loss in the backyard brawl as big favorites to Pitt in the series finale cost them that chance, sends them here to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, a game they're happy to be in. And now the Big 12 champs, the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners, like the Mountaineers, also started in impressive fashion. A 4-0 beginning to the season that saw them lose to unranked Colorado. The Sooners also thought their chances at a national championship were dashed. However, they would go on a hot streak. They win their next 5, including 2 over ranked opponents, number 19 Texas, number 11 Missouri. A loss then to unranked Texas Tech would set them back before they rebounded to win the Big 12 championship game against the then-ranked number 1 Missouri team. We're back. The coin toss at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in Glendale is coming up right after this.
Virginia Tech, Kansas. The FedEx Orange Bowl, tomorrow, only on Fox.
And we welcome you back to University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, alongside Pat Hayden and Terry Donahue, Matt Vasgersian. We send it down to the field, and our SEC crew referee
Congratulations, gentlemen, being here. We have a special coin tonight. The Fiesta Bowl logo is heads. The team logo is tails. Mr. Mark Grace is going to toss our coin. No. Before you toss, you're the visitor. You're going to call heads. All right, West Virginia's call head. Mr. Grace, flip our coin. West Virginia called heads. It is a tails. Oklahoma, you want to toss? You want to receive? He's going to receive. Which goal do you want to defend?
West Virginia, sir.
Go touch the ball. Go touch it. You want to kick? All right, turn your backs over here. Gentlemen, turn your backs over here. Oklahoma. Oklahoma has won the toss and will receive. Gentlemen, shake hands. Let's have a great ball game.
Bob Stoops' offense will go to work first. We're back with the opening kickoff from Arizona right after this.
On behalf of Frito-Lay, welcome to the 2008 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. This marks the 13th year that Tostitos has proudly sponsored this exciting contest. And congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners and the West Virginia Mountaineers on their outstanding seasons. We're all looking forward to another thrilling Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Tostitos is all about fun and bringing people together. And it's our sincere wish that this will be a year of good health and wellness for you and your family. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back, and before we kick off, we check in with the fourth member of our broadcast crew, Laura Oakman.
Thank you, Matt. Coach Bill Stewart, for weeks people have said this team is distraught over losing that game to Pittsburgh. Their head coach to Michigan, they said their heart was not in this game. They weren't with these kids every day the last 3 weeks. You have been. Is their heart in it tonight?
That's the people that they said. We say different. We're going to find out tonight. This is the best group of young men ever. Great chemistry. We're ready to play us a football game.
Coach, what would a win tonight mean to this team?
It would be a great boost. It would be tremendous for these young men. This coaching staff has just done a great job. And for the great people of West Virginia, God bless them. This is for them tonight.
Go coach again. Good luck,
Thank
Coach.
you, Laura. God bless.
Matt, back to you.
Well, Laura, thanks. And if there is a guy that personifies the state of West, by gosh, Virginia, it is interim coach Bill Stewart, who's done a great job preparing the Mountaineers under difficult circumstances for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Pat McAfee is ready to kick things away and get us started in Glendale.
Dangerous return team in Oklahoma. They lead the nation in kickoff return average.
Joaquin Iglesias, along with Alan Patrick, are deep for OU.
I'm still trying to settle down, guys, after Bill Stewart got me all pumped up.
The 2008 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is underway. This is Iglesias. He's out past the 15, loses his footing at the 20-yard line. Nate Sowers credited with the special teams takedown for WVU. Well, folks that watch football in the Big 12 that thought they wouldn't see a freshman quarterback the likes of Colt McCoy last year in Texas had no idea of what was coming in Norman. What a fantastic freshman season by Sam Bradford.
One of the amazing things to me, Matt, is he didn't throw an interception in 5 separate games. Just really managed the game remarkably well.
They put the tight end Joe John Finley in motion on 1st and 10. This is the ball carrier Alan Patrick. The senior tailback is good for 5 yards. Let's meet the offense for OU. They are big up front, an absolute load, averaging 320 a man. The senior center, John Cooper, the only one of them that's under 300 pounds. Duke Robinson, the left guard, is a first-team All-American. Backs and receivers, the Sooners are amazingly deep at the skill positions. Malcolm Kelly second on the all-time OU receiving yards and touchdown lists. He starts despite a banged-up quad. This is Iglesias in motion. Patrick once again. And Patrick pushes a pile before Mark Magro, the outstanding strong linebacker, can push him back. The Mountaineers defensive front. WVU plays an odd stack 3-3-5. Tough to do without a dominant nose tackle, which they have in all Big East first-teamer Keelan Dykes. The linebackers are led by Morgantown native senior Mark Magro. Reed Williams, another native West Virginian, having a great season in the middle. And in the secondary, Mundy and Wicks have really solidified what was a porous pass defense last year and made this WVU group one of the best pass defense teams in the country. Iglesias checks out for Dane Zaslav, the fullback. And the handoff is to Patrick. And the WVU sidelines reacting as though he is too short.
You know, West Virginia's defensive line is outweighed about 40 pounds a man against this OU offensive line. One of the things that West Virginia needs to do is to penetrate and move into gaps and try to make big plays in the backfield. That's exactly what they did there. That's a heck of a stop by West Virginia.
So they'll measure the carry by Patrick. Mark Magro, the aforementioned Morgantown native, led the charge for the Mountaineers. But it looks like Patrick has enough for the first down.
You know, guys, I go back, guys, even though they made the first down, that's good run defense by West Virginia against a very strong OU offensive line.
You mentioned how big they are on the offensive line, man. The left side, I mean, the left side of their offensive line, 79 Phil Lodehold and 72 Duke Robinson. I mean, that's 700 pounds of offensive linemen just on the left side alone.
So first and 10 for OU. Play fake. Manuel Johnson, the slot receiver, has the grab at the 32. Yards after the catch, he's taken down at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I didn't see Malcolm Kelly in. He was kind of a question mark, kind of had a quad bruise. We kind of saw him limping around at practice the other day. I don't think Malcolm Kelly got the start. Quentin Chaney in his place, so we may see a lot more of Quentin Chaney and that man, number 1, Manuel Johnson.
Well, if they don't have Malcolm Kelly, that'll be a factor because he's a big-bodied receiver at 6'4", 220 pounds. He creates mismatches when he gets outside against DBs.
So here's his replacement right down here. That's Chaney.
Zaslav and Patrick in the backfield for OU. Bradford loses the football but bounces on it to recover.
Reed Williams, the inside linebacker, number 47, got right there, Matt. I mean, this 3-3-5 defense, they can rush 8, they can maybe sometimes rush 3. This time it's the linebacker, their leading tackler. Perfect time. A little unlucky he didn't get the ball. Remember, this is a team in Oklahoma that's only been sacked 11 times all year. Great pressure that time by Williams.
I'll go back to Bill Stewart's comment. He's got his team ready to play. You can see the intensity.
I thought there was going to be a coaching change hangover, but in this early defensive series, he looked pretty good.
OU has been outstanding on third down this year. A 4-receiver set. Somebody has his meat hook into Sam Bradford, and down he goes, Johnny Dingle.
Yeah, he was held besides that too, Matt. I do see a flag on the far side, but Johnny Dingle, we were talking to Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator the other day, said this is a key player for us on passing downs. 9th sack of the year for him.
Holding, number 79 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It will be 4th down.
And not only was he held, I mean, not only did he get the sack, he was also held as well.
Well, you're talking about Phil Lodehold, the left tackle, number 79. He's 352 pounds. Johnny Dingle's 270, but he just beat him with a speed rush outside. The big tackle just couldn't handle him.
So Mike Nall, a Scottsdale, Arizona native, whose father works on the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl committee, in fact, as a life member. He's on to punt it away for OU. Von Rivers is deep for the Mountaineers. Dahl, who used to share punting duties, uncorks a good one. And Rivers is forced to fair catch at the 29. We'll get our first look at the Mountaineers offense when we come back. Join the live Fiesta Bowl play calling competition now. Predict plays before the snap for your chance to win. Text BCS to 386 from your AT&T wireless phone exclusively from AT&T, or you can play now at attblueroom.com. Our first look at Pat White and the Mountaineers offense, with Steve Slayton split wide. 1st and 10 for WVU. And this is White keeping, something we'll see an awful lot tonight. He picks up 6 before Darian Williams makes the tackle. Well, Patrick White unanimously named the Big East's Offensive Player of the Year for the 2nd consecutive season. Lost only 4 games as a Mountaineer starter. And to the delight of people all over West Virginia, has announced he will return for a senior season. He lines up with Owen Schmidt, who is left on 2nd and 5. We'll meet the rest of the Mountaineers in a moment. White has room. And White has a first down and much more across midfield and out of bounds at the OU 45. The Mountaineers up front make the running game go. No seniors in this group, but they've done a great job in front of Slayton, White, and company. All Big East first-teamer Greg Isdander and tackle Ryan Stanchek make up a solid left side. The top 10 scoring offense is powered by the run game. When White and Slayton both go for 100 yards, WVU is 7-1 this year. Into Sooner territory. 1st and 10. This is Schmidt, the Morgantown Colt hero, gets to the 40-yard line. Quickly, we meet the Sooners defensively. Senior Stephen Coleman starts in place of DeMarcus Granger in the middle. The pass rush comes from sophomore Austin English. 9.5 sacks, led the Big 12. The linebackers, Curtis Lofton, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Bob Stoops told us he's the best he's ever had as a head coach. And in the secondary, this might be Oklahoma's Achilles heel without starters Lendy Holmes and Reggie Smith. Darian Williams and redshirt freshman Dominique Franks get starts today.
Yeah, Franks is really their 4th corner.
High snap. This is Pat White. Another West Virginia first down.
You know, Terry, they seem much more up-tempo this game. You know, Bill Stewart, their interim head coach, said they wanted to play with a little bit more speed and pace. They have 3 different tempos they play with, but this is a very upbeat tempo in this opening drive.
Right now, the offense is executing extremely well. Pat White is hurting Oklahoma with his legs. That's what he does. This guy can throw the ball. He hits 68%, but he hurts you with his legs as much as anything.
No active QB has run for more yards in the last 3 seasons. White will look to throw it, and a ball that's underthrown. Intended for Tito Gonzalez.
That was not a good throw, but he did. As you mentioned, he had his best season as a passer by a long shot, did Pat White. And, you know, Terry, you measure quarterbacks, what, by winning, right?
No question about it.
25-4 as a starter.
This guy's so hard to get a fence around. This is where he's best, in the shotgun. The last pass was underneath the center, dropping back. That's not where he really hurts you. Put him in the shotgun and let him use his legs and his arm.
He's in the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Avoids the pass rush and dumps it off to Slayton. Slayton gets it to the 32, back to the original line of scrimmage before being stopped by Jeremy Beal, the redshirt freshman. Guys, let's get a look at our Dodge keys to the game tonight.
Well, for West Virginia, they've got to hang on to the ball. They've lost 2 football games where they've turned it over 9 times. If they just secure the football and attack the Oklahoma secondary that is weak tonight because 2 starters are gone, they've got a chance if they can hang in there early.
The Mountaineers also very good on 3rd down conversions this year. 49%. That's a top 10 figure in the nation. White deep, and another one just off target, intended for West Lions. And a flag on the play. This was on the other side of the field.
Well, Terry, because of your filibuster, let me get into the Oklahoma keys to the game now. I mean, Curtis Lofton, the outstanding All-American middle linebacker for Oklahoma, really shut down that inside run. You always think about West Virginia on the outside. Then take care of Sam Bradford, only 11 sacks on the year, and be patient with the run. There's a key guy for the Oklahoma defense, number 40, Curtis Lofton. 142 tackles on the year has been sensational.
Well, and when you think about it, Lewis Baker, the next tackler on the team's got 85.
What's the difference?
I'm not sure. A lot. I went to UCLA.
A lot.
The penalty, by the way, was for an illegal formation call, and it's declined by OU. 4th and 8, and look at this, guys. West Virginia keeps the offense on the field. And we've got another whistle.
Timeout, Oklahoma. That's their first.
The Sooners take a timeout. Underway in Glendale.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming.
Well, upon second thought, interim coach Bill Stewart's going to run his field goal unit out there. Pat McAfee's career long is 51. This is from 50 yards out. And McAfee is no good.
Now, that was a long one, but as you know, Matt, missed 2 against Pittsburgh. Perhaps the difference of the game.
He had missed 2 all year and then 2 in the backyard brawl. These aerials brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Will be the second offensive series tonight for Sam Bradford and the Sooners. 6 plays, 2 yards in their first series tonight out of the shotgun. And with Dingle coming hard, it's incomplete. But blowing each other up.
I'll tell you, we talked about Sam Bradford. He's only had 11 sacks on the year, but that's only part of it. You don't have to sack the quarterback to affect the throw, right, Terry? Just get some guys in his face, make him uncomfortable.
No question about it. Don't let him get his feet set. Yeah. And certainly Johnny Dingle and company, so far in this game, they've done that at West Virginia. They've brought enough heat to just kind of disrupt him a little bit. Don't give him his rhythm.
You're right. Johnny Dingle right up there now. He's the guy that's really going after the quarterback.
Bradford with a pocket, and that one swatted away. Eric Wicks got some serious ups. It's the senior safety that got in Bradford's face.
What a year Eric Wicks has had. You know, Terry, we watched a bunch of tape. Every time you watch West Virginia on defense, number 41 is around the ball and making plays like that.
Well, he's their best defensive football player, I think. And the neat thing about him, he came and graduated in the summer and got another year of eligibility because he earned his degree. He wanted to come back. He missed his freshman year because of academics, graduates, and gets a final year to play with his teammates.
Looks coach would like 2 more years from here.
3rd and 10 now. The dump off pass to Patrick goes absolutely nowhere.
Right now, guys, I can tell you from being in a lot of bowl games, the emotion, the quickness, and the spirit of West Virginia right now is controlling the tempo of the game. Oklahoma doesn't have the same giddy-up in their step that the West Virginia players do.
A surprise to me, though. I mean, they said all week, hey, we heard so much about the Boise State upset last year, losing 3 straight BCS. I expected Oklahoma really to be on fire early.
So once again, Mike Nolan, the punting unit on the field for OU. How about us for being liars? We go on the air and talk about the big offenses on the field tonight. Flag on the punt. Rivers lets it check up.
Well, West Virginia's coming after them on the punts. They're coming after them when they try to throw the ball. Right now, I'll tell you, West Virginia's just turning it loose, playing with reckless abandon.
Ready to move to Morgantown, sounds like.
No.
I hear there's a vacancy there.
Yeah, but I can tell you this, boys, when you start in these bowl games, how you start as an underdog is really important. You don't want a team like OU that's heavily favored to come out here and start steamrolling you because you don't believe you can win.
How did you prepare a team? I mean, you won 8 straight bowl games, and that long layoff. How'd you prepare a team?
I think every coach has a formula. Trial and error. You go into bowl games, you try this, you try that, but eventually...
Offside, number 6 on the defense. The penalty will be enforced at the previous spot. We'll repeat 4th down.
Eventually, you get your formula, and it works for you. You know, Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno, those guys have their formula. That's why they've won so many games. That's why we won 8 at UCLA.
Well, Bill Stewart told us in our meetings with him the other day, boys, I promise you, I ain't going to leave a single bullet in the holster.
Yeah.
And I believe
he's right, yeah.
So far, I promise he's going after the punt. He's going after the quarterback. He's not leaving a single bullet.
What a guy of integrity. You know, he doesn't know whether he's going to have a job at West Virginia. Didn't know having a job at all next year, and yet he's out here coaching his heart out, and he's kind of trying to keep the recruits at bay.
He's a refreshing story in this day and age of Bobby Petrinos and Nick Sabans and those stories taking over. There are a lot of Bill Stewarts out there at the collegiate level as well. Rivers from the 32. He's got a seam right up center field. Across midfield. There goes Vaughn Rivers. He's never taken one back to the house, and he's tackled at the 22. Demario Pleasant saved a touchdown for the Sooners.
Well, he led the Big East in punt returns with plays like that. Averaged about 11 yards a punt return, but on the biggest stage, biggest moment, and for Mountaineer players, they told us the biggest game they've ever played. Vaughn Rivers, great punt return for Bill Stewart, who coaches special teams.
Wow. All I can tell you is that you talk about a punt returner, you got to make one guy miss.
Yeah, first guy.
Yeah, he made 3 guys miss. I mean, he really did. He just made people, you know, he has great avoid. He just made 3 guys miss and took the ball down to the 22-yard line.
Well, the senior captain from Pittsburgh gives the Mountaineers great field position at the OU 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for Pat White and company. They fake the handoff to Slayton. White keeps, who's across the 20-yard line.
A nice block that time by Ryan Stanchek, number 62, the left guard, All-American, 3-year starter. You know, Bill Stewart was saying to us about Ryan Stanchek, you know, he'll gnaw your leg off if you ask him.
And he can punch you in the chest where you feel
hurts.
it through your whole body.
I do. He's right down here, left tackle.
Guy is a strong tackle.
High snap. This is Slayton trying to get around the left side, rather. Nothing doing there as Darian Williams came in from safety. The senior out of Mesquite, Texas, makes the tackle for a loss.
Notice by the absence of calling his name so far, it's Curtis Lofton on defense, right, for the Sooners, the guy who came in with 142 tackles.
And you know there are some technical absences as well for OU, as you heard the guys talk about during the pregame show. Lindy Holmes, Reggie Smith, DeMarcus Granger, all big cogs in the defensive machine for the Sooners. None of them are in uniform tonight. The Mountaineers yet to pick on that deep corner. Let's see if they try it here. Instead, it's a dump off over the middle that Slayton can't hang on to. DJ Wolf had him covered for OU.
Actually, the second leading receiver for the Mountaineers with 25.
Oh, he's not getting right up immediately either. They need him to stay in this ball game.
But, you know, in the 2 games they lost, carried a total of 22 times. Just didn't get the ball enough in those 2 losses.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you look at the combination of Pat White at quarterback and Steve Slayton at tailback, that's what really makes him effective. This guy can find the end zone. 55 career touchdowns. I mean, that's a load for a guy in 3 years.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion around Morgantown about Steve Slayton not being as productive this year as in 2006. The fact is, Owen Schmidt, Darius Raynaud, Pat White, they've distributed the offense a little bit more this year.
Noel Devine is grabbing the right ham.
Slayton is up and walking off the field very slowly here with 5:44 left in the opening quarter.
And I think the West Virginia offense has become more quarterback-centric than it was a year ago. You know, he's had about 40 fewer touches this year than he did last year. You mentioned Bill Stewart being a West Virginia guy, born there, has a graduate degree from West Virginia.
Well, on 4th and 9, they won't debate whether or not to run the field goal unit out there. It will be Pat McAfee to attempt this 38-yarder. We mentioned he had missed only twice all year before 2 crucial misses in the backyard brawl. He was no good from 50 to start tonight. But the animated kicker is good from 38 yards away, and the Mountaineers crack the scoreboard first in Glendale.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Dodge. Live to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life. By Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. And by Tostitos. Free the fun.
Well, so far the Mountaineers defense has held OU to -1 yard of offense. What's happening on the jumper scope, Pat?
Well, you know, man, I think the story of this game, I know early in the first quarter, has really been the pressure that the West Virginia defense has been able to put on Sam Bradford. And what happens? On the backside of that, J.T. Thomas, who's playing kind of a nickel linebacker, because of all the pressure, the ball has to come out a little bit earlier than he wanted, reads the screen, and makes the play. So good pass rush leads to good cover.
Well, the neat thing, J.T. Thomas, he isn't in the too deep on the depth chart.
What depth chart did you get? I have it.
No, you don't.
Depth chart.
No, that guy's coming off the bench and playing for him.
It's a deep team. It's got to get the third guy.
I love that when the third stringers are making plays like that.
After the Mountaineer field goal, Alan Patrick runs into a wall and then bounces right off it. There goes Alan Patrick across midfield. Patrick at the 25, the 15, and taken down inside the 10 by John Holmes. Alan Patrick. A 73-yard kickoff return.
You know, Terry, I think bowl games are a lot like opening games. You never know what to expect and where the big play is going to come. But oftentimes in opening games and in bowl games, they're in special teams. West Virginia had a big punt return, but it's hard to practice full speed these things. And then a terrific return by Alan Patrick, who's been a great special teams player for the Sooners all year.
Well, as you said earlier, Oklahoma leads the country in kickoff returns. DeMarco Murray's done most of it. He's not even in the game tonight.
A career-long kick return for Patrick, and the longest in OU Bowl history.
Ooh, he blew up last night.
This is Chris Brown, and Brown is dragged down from behind. He gained maybe a yard.
Well, this will be important for West Virginia here to be able to get a stop, give up 3 points as opposed to a touchdown here. They played so well on defense. Certainly their coverage team there broke down, but their defensive football team thus far in the game has been a real factor in terms of their quickness, intensity, and ability to make big plays.
Well, Patrick gets a well-deserved blow here on 2nd and goal. Chris Brown stays in. Brown didn't get a lot of carries early in the season, but has made out a great backfield along with Patrick. They run him down here. Great pursuit by the free safety, Ryan Mundy, and there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, you know, Oklahoma tried to outflank West Virginia. Matt, you see that? They had those 3 big tight ends lined up on the right, trying to outflank the West Virginia defense. They pitch it wide right, but still great penetration by that quick defense.
Yeah, all those white shirts just flew to the ball there.
We talk about tight ends. Oklahoma has got 3 really good ones. Joe John Finley, who's the captain, and Jermaine Gresham.
Illegal block in the back. Number 18 on the offense. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
Like I said, 3 great tight ends, some of whom commit penalties from time to time. That's okay. Jermaine Gresham, as a tight end, has caught 11 touchdown passes this year as a tight end. Every 3 catches. It's incredible.
Well, and when you put him outside and flank him, you can see the clip right there.
Right there, yep.
It's a good call by the officials. When you put him outside and match him on a defensive backs, 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in that range. This guy is so physical and big at 6'6" and 263. It's a mismatch.
Look who just came into the game. Oh, Malcolm Kelly, who they like down here, down to the bottom of the screen.
The penalty marches him back to 2nd and goal from the 20. Bradford throwing end zone overthrown intended for Iglesias.
You know, right now, guys, my observation is that Sam Bradford has gotten off to kind of a rough start. They put a lot of heat on him. He's been disrupted a little bit, and we talked about his accuracy coming into this game, hitting 70% of his passes and all that sort of thing. And he's a great redshirt freshman quarterback. But this is a big bowl game, and they've disrupted him a little bit in the opening part of this game.
Not what folks were looking for the man that Bob Stoops nicknamed the Big Easy. 3rd and goal from the 20 once again. Play fake to Brown. Plenty of time this time for Bradford. End zone intercepted. Quentin Andrews, the bandit safety.
Well, you know, this 3-3-5 defense, a little awkward awkward that West Virginia plays. Sometimes they rush 3, sometimes they rush 8. That time, 3 guys rushing, 8 guys in coverage. Throws it right to Quinton Andrews. This was, Sam Bradford, you just has made great decisions all year, but today, that's a poor decision. What, 3, 4 white jerseys around the receiver? Manuel Johnson?
And the other thing I think you have to remember coming into this game about West Virginia, their defensive football team was ranked 4th in the country. You know, a lot of people overlooked that. Only Ohio State, LSU, and USC. I hated to say it. I struggled to get it out. But only those guys were ranked ahead of them.
Boy, all that after a 73-yard kick return. The hand up the middle is by Noel Devine. Devine, the freshman, who led the Big East this year with an average of 8.6 yards per carry. Again, Slayton went down in the Mountaineers' last possession, so it's Devine in the backfield.
Noel Devine, he got big play written all over. He's got 20 plays of 20 yards or more. You know, just kind of a leaf in the wind, the way he kind of bounces around and outruns people.
He's got great avoid. He'll make you miss now in open spaces.
Devine was right on his average with a 9-yard run. The pass is caught out on the flat. That's Darius Raynaud, whose name we haven't called yet today. Raynaud is a guy in an offensive unit filled with athletes that may be the best of the bunch. 5'10", 200 pounds. He squats almost 700 pounds and is an unbelievable physical player.
He could squat the left side of Oklahoma's offensive line.
Well, you know, we're talking about touchdowns. This guy has 11 for the Mountaineers. 11 touchdowns.
1st and 10. Again, it's Devine in the backfield for Slayton. Devine takes the handoff, bounces off a tackle, and makes maybe a yard of it before being grabbed down by D.J. Wolf.
Here, D.J. Wolf, number 25 for the Sooners, playing strong safety. Senior from Lawton, Oklahoma. There's a smart guy. He was a running back, but there happened to be another running back with the name of Adrian Peterson. The coach put me on defense. Played a couple years at corner. First year at safety. Had a real nice season for the Sooners at strong safety.
Devine and Schmidt in the backfield on 2nd and 9. White has a pocket and throws incomplete for Raynaud. But both quarterbacks struggling to throw the football. Pat White 2 of 5 for 6 yards. Sam Bradford 2 of 6 for less than 5 yards. And not the kind of accuracy that we were used to seeing from these two during the regular season.
Well, you know, you mentioned 2 pretty good. You talk so much about the offenses, but as Terry mentioned, West Virginia's defense, 4th in the nation, and Oklahoma has got some real good athletes on defense as well.
Third and 9.
Comes with blitz.
And with the empty backfield, here comes Patrick White. First down, Mountaineers across midfield. Dragged down by Curtis Lofton. Pat White breaks off another big one.
What happened there? Oklahoma brought the blitz. They usually don't blitz a lot, but you can see the strong safety. He'll come from the right side of the screen. There's the blitz there, but when you do that, you're in man-to-man coverage generally behind it, and that means no one accounts for the quarterback. And a guy like Pat White, with his kind of legs, watch out.
I'd account for him. I'd have 2 or 3 guys accounting for him.
Pat White has now moved to number 7 on the NCAA's all-time quarterback rushing list, passing Navy's Chris McCoy. White keeps it, but can't get away from his pursuer. Darian Williams making another good play in space. We remind you to stay tuned for tonight's halftime show as Academy Award winner Morgan Freeman narrates a feature on the incredible story of the 1951 San Francisco Dons, brought to you by our friends at Tostitos. Really something you won't want to miss.
We had a chance to beat some of those guys the other night. Incredible story.
2nd and 8, Devine the lone back with Patrick White. And White dumps it off to Devine. Another Mountaineers first down as he's wrapped up at the 31 by Dominique Franks, the redshirt freshman, a 13-yard pickup.
You know, guys, this game is gone differently than I anticipated.
Yeah, me too.
And part of the reason, I think, as I watch it from up here, the quickness of West Virginia on both sides of the ball. You know, we said they were built for speed, and more speed. And they are. I mean, these guys can run on both sides of the ball. They have playmakers, and they have speed all over the field.
Well, you know, Oklahoma's played 5 spread teams this year, but not any of them had a quarterback with the speed of Pat White.
Play fake to Schmidt. White keeps it, and this time OU doesn't bite. Curtis Lofton leads the charge for the Sooners. Inside of a minute here in the opening quarter in Glendale.
Yeah, you mentioned number 40 on the tackle, Curtis Lofton. Just an unbelievable year he has had at middle linebacker for the Sooners.
One thing this offense makes you do, it makes you play discipline on defense. You got to account for the quarterback and everybody else.
High snap. White has trouble with it, but is able to get it out to the freshman Jock Sanders, taken down at the 25. Those great looks are brought to you by the amazing DLP, the Amazing Picture Cam. DLP is the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. DLP, it's amazing. It's the mirrors.
How high is that over the player's head? What do you think, guys?
You couldn't punt to it, Coach.
No way?
I don't think so.
27 feet, 4 inches.
That'd be the kind of punt that would bring you out of retirement.
That's how tall you'd like to be, Coach Hayden.
3rd and 4, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Devine. Slipped right through his hands.
Okay, Pat White is in rhythm. You know, Sam Bradford a little bit out of rhythm, but Pat White is in sync, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And you know, as a defensive lineman, you hate playing against a guy like this. Yeah. You know, rushing the quarterback is fun when the quarterback's not mobile.
Yeah, you're right.
And he can't move around, right?
It's tiring.
When you're rushing a quarterback who can really, really move with his legs, it's more difficult. It wears you out.
Well, Pat McAfee has been among the busiest Mountaineers in this opening quarter. This will be a 42-yard attempt. Closing seconds of the opening quarter, McAfee adds a second score.
There's one excited interim head coach.
6-0 Mountaineers. A couple of Pat McAfee field goals have the Mountaineers on top with just 2 ticks left in the opening quarter. Owen Schmidt, Steve Slayton and company moving the ball effectively. 93 yards of Mountaineer offense in the opening quarter. Joaquin Iglesias at the goal line for the Sooners. Iglesias is across midfield. Another big kickoff return for OU as Iglesias is wrapped up at the 38 by Boogie Allen. The end of the first quarter. Mountaineers on top. 6-0 West Virginia. Bowl bash continues with the FedEx Orange Bowl as Kansas takes on Virginia Tech. Our coverage of the FedEx Orange Bowl begins tomorrow. Join Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, and Coach Barry Alvarez at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific in high definition right here on Fox. Opening of the second quarter, and OU opens with a flag on the play on the handoff to Alan Patrick.
Well, wouldn't want to be a punter against Virginia Tech, would you?
No.
That's when you pull the hamstring.
Block that kick.
Yeah,
a Frank Beamer specialty, especially in bowl games. We'll check in on the flag here.
Holding, number 74 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
You know, guys, Bob Stoops had been held scoreless in the first quarter in only 2 games prior to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. They came back to win them both.
Well, Bob Stoops, he knows how to prepare a team for a bowl game. This guy wins the national championship in 2000 and starts recruiting the country. Normally, they recruit Oklahoma and Texas. He became national in his scope, and this team at Oklahoma is filled with good players from all over the country. He's done a great job there.
Brian Simmons takes over for Brandon Walker at right guard. And OU keeps it on the ground. Keelan Dykes is there to make the stop on the play after a 3-yard pickup by Alan Patrick.
Terry, you talk about Bob Stoops. I mean, 19, right? This is his 19th. He's had 7 of those teams win 11 games. I mean, it has been phenomenal. And you kind of forget about how moribund the Oklahoma program was prior to his arriving. I mean, they hadn't won 10 games in about a decade.
Yeah, he got him rebuilt.
Every year.
Yeah, he got him rebuilt. Yeah. There's no question about it. He did it with great recruiting, outstanding coaching. And this guy, I mean, you can tell there's a presence at Oklahoma in football. There's a presence.
Chris Brown checks into the backfield on 2nd and 17. Bradford with time in front of that beefy line, and he gets it complete out to Quentin Chaney.
This is a tall Oklahoma team. Stan Bradford, the quarterback, is 6'5". Quentin Chaney, the receiver who caught that ball, is 6'5". So big strike zone that Sam Bradford has to throw the ball to Quentin Chaney. Excellent protection here. Allows him to get up and fire it right in there. I said Sam Bradford, 6'5". He is taller than, I think, 10 of the 11 defensive starters on West Virginia.
Quentin Chaney caught only 4 balls during the regular season, but again, with Malcolm Kelly having a little nick on the leg, he will play a role here this afternoon. Boy, and great penetration by the Mountaineers. Bobby Hathaway, among others, coming in to stuff Chris Brown for a loss.
Well, one of the things West Virginia wants to do is they want to run through a lot with their linebackers. They want that penetration. That penetration is what disrupts an offense. And anytime you can penetrate and run through, particularly on rundowns, you can see right there, Hathaway just ran through, defeated a blocker, throws the running back for a loss.
Well, they even blocked him. He was that quick.
Again with Brown in the backfield on 2nd and 12. The quick pass to Iglesias, and he can't do much with that ball as he's wrapped up immediately by the senior corner, Antonio Lewis.
Antonio Lewis, what they call their boundary corner. Oh, he's limping off. Remember, we've already seen Malcolm Kelly not play much today, and that's their other starting wide receiver, Iglesias.
Well, if there's any weakness in the Oklahoma offense coming into this game, it is the depth at wide receiver. There's no question. I mean, you've got Malcolm Kelly and you've got Iglesias, and those guys, you lose those 2 guys and take them out of a ball game now, you've taken away some of your firepower.
Garrett Bolton comes in up top. He's the new receiver in.
He checks in for Iglesias, the Sooners' leading receiver. There's a flag on the play. Bradford makes all kinds of room and time for himself. He's across the 40 and tackled at the 38-yard line. But again, there's a flag on the play.
Well, this game, to me, has really been about West Virginia's defense and how passionate they play.
Yeah, and how quick they've been. You know, they've penetrated. Bill Stewart said they would be. He said that they would play fast.
We didn't really believe it.
No, I didn't think they could match up.
Yeah. We thought there'd be some coaching hangover with Rich Rodriguez leaving. You know, all these assistant coaches, a lot of them don't really know whether they have a job next year or not.
Yeah, I think they've done it for the state of West Virginia. You know, I mean, I think they have bonded together. But Oklahoma now, this is a football team that can put points on you. You know, this team can put points on you. Now, they are without
illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. Number 79 was off the line. It's 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
You know, big Phil Lodeholt is pretty easy to spot when he lines up in an illegal formation. He's 6'8", the tallest player in OU history. 350 pounds worth of him, and he's going to stand out a little bit.
He tested positive for donuts during the week preparation.
It is a massive OU line, the left side in particular.
It's 700 pounds between those 2 guys right there you're looking at.
So now 3rd and 16 after the penalty. Bradford, look out on the blind side. And Bradford goes down. Antonio Lewis came around the corner clean. Didn't really hit him hard, but Bradford goes down anyway.
Well, he's the boundary corner, Terry. You know, and they like to blitz the boundary corner. He's a good tackler. We saw him make a tackle just a couple of plays ago on Iglesias. But Bradford didn't really see him, but you need to feel him. And I think you need to be a little stronger in the pocket.
No question about it. The boundary corners are responsibility generally of the quarterback. Now, sometimes a running back has the assignment to pick him up, but in that particular case, you would have liked Sam Bradford to feel that and get rid of it.
Vaughn Rivers ran a career long back in the first quarter. He signals fair catch at the 10 here. A couple of sacks by the Mountaineer defense. They have kept Oklahoma scoreless.
Appalachian State is a finalist for the Pontiac Game-Changing Performance of the Year. The Mountaineers have already won a $5,000 scholarship from Pontiac for this block field goal to upset Michigan. Vote now at Pontiac.com/NCAA to help decide the winner of the $100,000 Pontiac Game-Changing Performance of the Year, which will be announced at the BCS National Championship game on Fox, January 7th.
1st and 10 for the Mountaineers from their 10-yard line. Pat White trying to run left. Is tackled at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
You know, we've talked a lot about West Virginia's offense. The Oklahoma defense is something that you have to really keep your eye on, because they've got 3 great players at each level. Defensive line, they've got Austin English. Linebacker, they've got Curtis Lofton. Secondary, they have TJ Wolf. When you have 3 players like that at each level, you're an awfully good defensive football team.
Yeah, but they're missing 3 starters today, remember?
Noel Devine still in the backfield with White. Pressure. White around the left side, and he gets out of bounds at the 11, forced out of bounds by the senior strong linebacker Lewis Baker. Meanwhile, guys, on the WVU sideline, Steve Slayton has his helmet off, and it does not look as though Slayton is in a real rush to get back out onto the field. Since he's come off, we have seen nothing but either empty backfields or Noel Devine.
Well, you know, Owen Smith took his place last year in the Gator Bowl and ran for over 100 yards, 107 yards in last year's Gator Bowl.
Empty backfield set for White here on 3rd and 8. Here comes the pressure again, and that one's incomplete, intended for Darius Raynaud.
So that was pretty good pass protection by the West Virginia offensive line, because Oklahoma had a big full blitz coming on. And I tell you, Patrick White, you know, you don't see too many kind of spread offensive guys hang in the pocket like Patrick White does right here and deliver the ball.
He takes a good shot there, and that'll resonate in his head. You know, as you know, Pat, playing that position, as the game goes along, the more you get knocked down, the more you remember it. That's the idea with the defensive players, right?
Here comes this unusual spread punt formation that West Virginia uses, and the rugby punt.
And the McAfee punt is away. Iglesias and Franks, the deep men. This is Iglesias. Past the 40. Still on his feet past midfield with a flag down, and Iglesias is wrapped up at the 42-yard line. Kent Richardson makes the special teams play for the Mountaineers.
I think on every bowl game that I've watched this season, on special teams, there's been a flag. They got every single special teams play.
I think that's a function not playing for a month.
Yeah, it's like the first game.
Yeah, no question about it. You just can't simulate it in practice, you know, because you're not full speed.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 41 on the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st and 10.
Well, this has been a problem a little bit for Oklahoma. They came in with 83 penalties on the season.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Fox is sponsored by Pontiac, the first ever G8 from Pontiac, the official performance machine of the NCAA.
9:56 left in the half. 6-0 West Virginia. You know, guys, Oklahoma has trailed at the end of the first quarter in each of their last 5 bowl games, and they are 1-3 in such games. How does this bode, this slow start for Bradford in the offense, for OU the rest of the day?
Well, you know, he's only 4 of 8. We came in saying he's completing, 70% of his passes, but really nothing big in the passing game. No downfield kind of plays. And I think the West Virginia front 3 have put an awful lot of pressure on Sam Bradford. He's not been comfortable.
Well, and the other thing I would say is, who would have ever thought with, 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half that Oklahoma, prior to that play, would have minus 11 yards rushing? I mean, I would have never, with that big offensive line and with, Alan Patrick and Chris Brown, who would have ever thought that?
Patrick is good for a first down run, so 1st and 10 now. As OU moves the ball to the 38, the swing pass out of the backfield is caught by Jermaine Gresham, one of those big NFL-style tight ends, and a late hit out of bounds is going to make this an even bigger play for OU. It looked like Johnny Holmes came in late on the sidelines.
Yeah, those are one of those stupid penalties. Jermaine Gresham, the man that caught it, was really has had an unbelievable season.
There were 2 fouls. After the play, dead ball, personal foul, number 41 on the defense, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 19 on the defense. Both penalties will be from the end of the run.
Wow.
It'll be 1st and 10.
And we weren't right about either one of them. It was Eric Wicks and Vaughn Rivers. That is really going to hurt WVU.
Hurt him by, 30 yards? Here's the catch and the run by Grisham.
Well, look at the power of Grisham at 6'5", 262. How'd you like to be 5'10", playing DB, coming up on that guy?
I'm 5'10", but I've never played DB. There's the hit actually by Monday, right? It was Ryan Mundy, number 21.
That had to be the call.
Yeah, it wasn't 41.
Steve Shaw got it wrong as well. So 2 penalties, add 30 yards to the end of the play. First and 10 Sooners at the Mountaineer 24.
That's more in penalty yards they've had passing thus far today.
It's more than they've had running.
There's been a change on the front defensively for West Virginia. Scooter Berry has left injured. And Chris Neal, the redshirt freshman, is taken over up front. And more chippiness after the play here. Well, the Mountaineers didn't need to do anything to give OU any momentum.
No.
Especially on the offensive side.
You know, it's been a good defensive game, but I wouldn't really want to be a defensive coordinator preparing for either one of these teams.
But Johnny Dingle, he's the talker, even by the Mountaineers' own admission. He's the guy that does a lot of the trash talking and the mouth running up front.
But he plays pretty hard, too, Matt. I mean, he's already had 1 sack. He's putting a lot of pressure on Sam Bradford.
18 tackles for losses. You could chip a little bit.
Yeah.
2nd and 9. They hand it to Patrick. And he's wrapped up at the 20 by Chris Neal, who again has just come on for West Virginia.
You know, one thing, when you're West Virginia and you play a 3-3-5 defense, it's an unusual front. You know, a lot of teams don't see it. It's around the country a little bit, but not a lot. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to bring pressure from lots of different places. As you mentioned, Pat, you can rush 3, you can blitz 8, you can do a lot of different things. Now, Oklahoma's had plenty of time to prepare for the, you know, they've had a month to prepare for this front, but this front is causing them some issues. You can see the 3 down linemen right there and 3 linebackers.
Nobody blocked one of them.
Thomas comes free again, and Bradford had a target, but he and Iglesias have not been able to hook up today.
It was J.T. Thomas, one of those, 5 defensive backs. He just came absolutely cleanly right from over here. Right off the edge.
Yeah, nobody picked him up, and Sam Bradford, there's not much you can do there. You got to move and get rid of the ball. He almost had a completion, but he did a good job just getting away from the pressure and not taking a big sack.
And that is not his thing. He's been sacked twice today. Coming into today's game, he was only sacked 11 times the entire season. So this West Virginia defensive game plan by Jeff Castillo, the defensive coordinator, has been magnificently executed.
Garrett Hartley from 37 yards away. And Hartley is up and through. 30 of his last 33 over the past 2 seasons to put OU on the scoreboard in the 2nd quarter. Mountaineers on top 6-3. Freshman quarterback Sam Bradford has been sacked a couple of times by the Mountaineers. Let's take a look at what's happening to him on the jumper scope, Coach.
Well, one thing about the 3-3-5 defense is watch the corner. They come from anywhere with this defense. You can see him right there, and all of a sudden the wide receiver is going to be wide open, but he's about falling down, so Bradford doesn't have a wide out to get the ball to, and Sam Bradford never saw it coming from the outside. That's one of the difficulties.
Well designed, don't you think, Coach?
Yeah, they come from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
But that boundary blitz you see more and more in college football, usually to the quarterback's blind side.
Well, Garrett Hartley was good for a field goal to get OU on the scoreboard. 6-3 Mountaineers, 7:46 left in the half. Noel Devine is deep for the Mountaineers. This will be Vaughn Rivers from the 3. Rivers gets away from the first wave and is shoved out of bounds at the 23 by Ian Pleasant. A reminder, Monday, it's the game college football fans have been waiting for as Matt Flynn and the LSU Tigers take on Chris Wells and the Ohio State Buckeyes in the All-State BCS National Championship game. Our coverage begins Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific in high definition, only on Fox.
I'll tell you, Glenn Dorsey, unbelievable. Every time I watch LSU, he was sacking some quarterback, just disrupting things in the middle. Chris Wells, a big year for the Buckeyes.
Dorsey had a huge year, and he was unhealthy most of it. Mountaineers keep it on the ground with Noel Devine, who cuts inside for a gain of maybe 2.
You know, the game has gone just like West Virginia has wanted it to go. They never fell behind early. That was one of the things that Bill Stewart said is we can't get behind early because we're not a great catch-up team.
You don't want to be behind late either.
No, that's right. But you know, if you're not a throwing team, you don't want to, get somebody to jump on you by 14
points. Yeah, it's gone according to plan, and the defense has been sensational.
They have outrushed OU 72 yards to 5. In the air is White this time, and that one caught by Raynaud. A first down for the Mountaineers.
See, this is where I think Pat White is really effective, when he's in the shotgun or when he's on the move. When you don't have him just be a standard drop back quarterback, you move him on play action, you fake a run, come off with a play action pass. That's, guys, where I think he's effective. You can watch his legs, little fake there, comes around, he finds an open receiver, and he gets rid of the ball quick. He does.
Noel Devine scoots around the corner. Tackled at the 38 by Curtis Lofton. A flag at the end of the play.
We had a nice meeting with Pat White the other day. Weren't you impressed with Pat? He got really a presence about him, a calm guy. I think his teammates really respond well to him. From Daphne, Alabama.
Yeah,
incidental face mask, number 16 on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Repeat first down.
Well, fellas, a couple things about Pat White that surprised me was his height and his arm.
Yeah, there's the face mask. Yeah, he is a little taller than he looks like on television, and he does have sometimes left-handers fool you. They don't look like they're throwing it really hard, but the left-hander, the ball always gets there on time.
Like a dart, he throws it real quick. He gets it quick.
Drafted in the 4th round by the Angels out of high school, had committed to LSU to play defensive back and receiver, but when West Virginia knocked on the door and said, we'll give you a shot at quarterback, he went to Morgantown. Owen Schmidt, like a runaway beer truck down the sidelines. Big Owen Schmidt, touchdown, West Virginia. A career-long touchdown run for Owen Schmidt that also stands as the longest touchdown run in Tostitos Fiesta Bowl history.
We talks about him being a great story and having a nice haircut, but he's a pretty doggone good football player too, Terry.
No question about it. He comes into the game averaging 4.7 yards a carry. That play right there, that's going to help that out.
It is. Your math is impeccable.
The point after is good. Owen Schmidt, what Kevin Pittsnoggle was to the WVU hoop team a couple of years ago, Owen Schmidt is that guy on the gridiron.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Fox is sponsored by FedEx. Go Air, Go Ground, Go Football. By High Definition TV and Blu-ray. Your choice is clear, the future is blue. And by Taco Bell, big fans of college bowl action.
Now the Mountaineers get into the end zone first on a 57-yard touchdown run by Owen Schmidt. And a correction, it is the longest in WVU Bowl history, not the longest in Tostitos Fiesta Bowl history, the longest by a Mountaineer in a bowl. Joaquin Iglesias is the deep man for OU. And a pooch-style kickoff. Joe-John Finley grabs it at the 25. And Finley will give the Sooners good field position as he's down at the 42. We check in on the sidelines with Laura Oakman.
Guys, Owen Schmidt has gone from a walk-on to a legend. Fans have Schmidt signs all over the stands. They have shaved mohawks. They love him for his play and work ethic, telling almost folk tales about him. Some are true, by the way. Owen has cracked 10 face masks, but some are not. He assures me he has never picked up a car and held it over his head, although fans love to say that one, guys. You're tempted to call him Rudy, and his story sounds like it, but he's too darn talented.
Yeah. This is a guy that when he played at Division III Wisconsin River Falls, his head coach asked him not to practice because he was hurting his teammates. 1st and 10 for Bradford and the Sooners on the play fake. The home run ball down the middle of the field, and it's caught inside the 15 by Quentin Chaney.
Well, Quentin Cheney scored a touchdown in last year's Fiesta Bowl. Terry, you were talking about some of the depth earlier on this Oklahoma team, filling in for Malcolm Kelly, the guy who's really their big play receiver. Terrific protection. Boy, really good protection. Good pickup that time by Chris Brown.
Yeah, and a great call by Bob Stoops and Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator. They go right at it.
And you're right, Terry. Think about Oklahoma. They can play a couple different ways on offense. They can try to grind it out if they have to, but they've got big play capability all day long. 35 plays of 40 or more yards this year.
This is Chris Brown between the tackles, and Brown is down at the 6. Back to Quentin Cheney with Malcolm Kelly a little dinged up. Iglesias got dinged up earlier. Cheney has his 2 longest career receptions in the first half of this Tostitos Fiesta Bowl today. 23 and now 45 yards.
You see the graphic. 35 plays of 40-plus yards. So they can grind it out, or they can go over the top.
And you're talking about a team that's been over 40 points 8 times this year. So you're talking about explosive team.
Tackled for a loss. Chris Neal makes the penetration. Reed Williams came in to make the initial hit from middle linebacker.
Reed Williams, their leading tackler with nearly 100.
I go back to Bob Stoops right now. This is a tough situation for him. He's come out here. West Virginia has dominated the first half of play. But Bob Stoops, he's fighting against emotion, and that play call was a huge play call for him.
So you got to look for Jermaine Grisham, the tight end, who's caught 11 of them this year.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Bradford looks into the end zone, and it's batted away, incomplete. Eric Wicks, the senior safety, got right in the passing lane. It was intended for Grisham per your play call, Pat.
Absolutely. It's the right play call. Apparently, Jeff Castillo, the defensive coordinator, knows he's caught 11 touchdown passes as well. What a play on the ball by Eric Wicks.
Yeah, and this ball's a little bit off target.
Yeah, he has been all day.
Bradford. There's no question. That ball was not really where it needed to be for Grisham to make that play.
You take that big Cheney play out of the equation, and OU's passing offense has been totally shut down tonight. A 24-yard attempt by Garrett Hartley. He was good from 37 earlier. So the Sooners settle with 3. 13-6 Mountaineers. Mountaineers. Your Tostitos game summary to this point. 4:50 left in the first half, and the kickers have been very active. In fact, 5 field goal attempts ties a Fiesta Bowl record set between Penn State and USC back in 1982. Garrett Hartley adding a couple. The only touchdown, the big 57-yard TD rumble by Owen Schmidt. And most recently, Hartley's second of 2, making it 13-6, 4:50 left in the half.
You know what's amazing for me is that OU's very much in this game at 13-6. They've got 11 yards rushing to West Virginia's 131. Who would have thought that coming in?
None of this has happened the way the experts thought it would happen as Noel Devine takes the kick back across the 15 with dancing on the sidelines and hit at the 25-yard line by Ian Pleasant. Well, some of the great pictures tonight provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP, the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. DLP, it's amazing. It's the mirrors.
Terry, I think you mentioned it earlier. I believe you did and should have. West Virginia, the 2 games they lost, they turned the ball over 9 times, but they have really protected the ball well tonight.
So far, one of the keys to the game,
absolutely.
Right? West Virginia protecting the football. That gives them a lot better chance against this OU defensive team.
1st and 10 from the 22. Devine takes the delayed handoff. He's tackled just shy of the 25-yard line. DJ Wolf was there for OU.
You know, what's been interesting a little bit is that Steve Slayton has been out of this game for a long time.
Yeah, he came back and went up that hamstring.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and they've got to play this game without him. It doesn't look like he's going to return it this time. So you're talking about playing with your backup tailback in Devine and losing a big play.
But Owen Smith's not a bad guy to give the ball to once in a while either.
Quick pass to Devine. Across the 25, he can run. Noel Devine down the sideline. Cuts it inside and taken down from behind.
Ball came out. They call it
down down. Corey Bennett stripped it clean from him, and it looks like DJ Wolf has recovered for OU.
No, I think the linesman called it down. I think the linesman, he pointed down to the ground. I think he's going to overrule that.
Indeed, that is, boy, what a break by the Mountaineers. My goodness.
Let's have a look at the end of this. He is fast. Knees down, ball's in. It's not a fumble.
Good call by the official.
Yeah.
He's right on it.
Yeah, his knee was down.
A call to 34-yard catch and run by Devine. Across the 40 now is Jock Sanders. Well, the clock stopped at 3:49 left here in the second quarter.
Watch Pat White, the quarterback here. He hands the ball off, but watch him come out the back end of the defense. Right here, full speed right there. He's going to keep that ball in a couple minutes there. Yeah. He's going to be one-on-one with that defensive end.
Wouldn't you like to see him keep the ball now? He would have run for 30 yards.
And they'll get it again.
Yeah.
That's part of the offense. That's what makes it hard to defend.
133 rushing yards by the Mountaineers so far in the first half. White will keep it himself this time, but nothing doing as Curtis Lofton, the Big 12's Defensive Player of the Year, was there on the tackle.
Bob Stoops was talking about Curtis Lofton, and he said, they had some great linebackers at OU, but he said he's been the most productive linebacker we have ever had. Staggering. Oklahoma held, what, 6 teams to less than 67 yards rushing this year?
Yeah, that stat, it's hard to believe, but there's a lot of football left here, and Bob Stoops has been in this situation before in his career.
White pumps once, and now he breaks himself free. First down, Mountaineers, and maybe more. Their dynamic quarterback is out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Nick Harris was there to shove him out of bounds. A 15-yard gain by Pat White.
Yeah, but Terry, Bob Stoops has not seen a quarterback run the spread like Pat White does, you know? The injury to Steve Slayton we saw in the first quarter, grabbed his right hamstring. Haven't seen him since. He's on the bike on the sideline. Will Devine and Owen Schmidt have picked up the slack quite well.
First and 10 from the 24. Raynaud. And everybody stayed home for OU's secondary. Marcus Walker was there to make the tackle.
You know, if you're Bob Stoops right now, you want to get out of this half, you want to get in that locker room, and you want to talk to this football team what you need to do to get back in this game and get control of the game. First thing you got to do is you got to crank up that offensive line and get them running the ball and protecting their quarterback. More than any group on the field, they've got to get it done when you're in this kind of a situation playing against such an emotional team.
OU has 2 timeouts left. 2.5 minutes in the half. White keeps it. He's got a wide open Raynaud. Touchdown Mountaineers. Oh, that deceiving left-handed style. A 21-yard touchdown strike to Raynaud.
Well, you know, Matt, it's Pat White, then Devine, and then Owen Schmidt, and then boom, out of nowhere comes Darius Raynaud for his 12th touchdown catch of the year. And you know, Terry, every time you see him catch one, it seems like he's wide open right there in the slot because everybody's worried about Pat White and all the running backs.
There's no question the play action fake draws the safeties up into the line of scrimmage, and what happens all of a sudden, you got wide open spaces.
Darius Raynaud has caught 12 of West Virginia's 15 touchdown tosses this year. These aerials brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. And Pat White and the Mountaineer offense have kept the excitement coming early in this Tostitos Fiesta Bowl tonight. 20-6 Mountaineers.
You know, Matt, it's really time for Sam Bradford to respond to guys on the sideline. You know, it's easy to play quarterback when things are going well, but I think there are moments when quarterbacks really have to have those magical moments in games on the road or in bowl games. Things aren't going well, and Sam Bradford has 2.5 minutes and 2 timeouts remaining to get something going for the Sooners.
But to do that, Pat, your offensive line's got to help you. You got to get protected, and you've got to be able to set your feet.
Iglesias picks it up after a couple of bounces and is taken down at the 35. We check in with Laura Oakman.
For anybody who thought this West Virginia team was not going to be into this game, I wish you all could see what I am watching. I honestly have never seen a sideline like this. They are high-fiving. They are chest bumping. They are hugging. There are guys literally standing up on the bench taking video. They have their cameras out taking video of the game right now.
You know, it's amazing when we talked to the West Virginia players, including that man, Smith, Owen Smith, said this is the most important game I've ever played. Last game for Owen Smith, he said, hey, it didn't get any bigger or better or more important than today's game.
Well, and you lose all, your teammates are leaving. This is it. You're in that locker room. It's an emotional affair in that locker room, saying goodbye to your teammates. It's a hard thing to do.
So Bradford trying to answer. He finds Iglesias, who had to change directions to make the grab at the 40, a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, Oklahoma needs a catch and run. That was a kind of a thrown behind him. They need to get a receiver on the move. A little bit earlier, they got Quentin Chaney down the field. Sam Bradford needs to throw it accurately, let a guy run after the catch.
Again, OU with 2 timeouts left over the middle of the field. That one caught. Reed Williams makes the tackle on Joaquin Iglesias.
Everybody's gone to the spread offense in college football. People are going to go to the 3-3-5 defense after this game. The first half of this game, that defensive football team is something else.
Then when we were talking to Owen Smith, that haircut, he called it the business cut mohawk. If you wear a tie with that, he said.
Right.
The business cut.
He's not going to need to go on any job interviews.
No.
There are people on Sundays licking their chops for him.
He cleaned up the mohawk look a few weeks ago. Big important down for Oklahoma right now.
3rd and 2. Bradford out of the shotgun. Here comes Morty Ivy on the blitz, and it's caught by Iglesias right at the marker. It'll depend on the spot as Antonio Lewis had him covered quickly.
I think it looked like he marked it short of the first down marker. And if it's 3rd and 2, how do you run a 3rd and a 1.5-yard route, Terry? I know it wasn't called at 1.5 yards.
Coming up on the Southwest Airlines halftime show, it's performances by the West Virginia and Oklahoma marching bands. Chris, Jimmy, and Barry will have first half analysis and a feature on the incredible story of the 1951 San Francisco Dons, narrated by Morgan Freeman, something you won't want to miss. Well, you can see it right there. 4th and 1. They keep the offense on the field. OU 7 of 16 on 4th downs this year, and they are stuck. Make it 7 of 17. And the story of the first half, this West Virginia defense trying to get into the locker rooms at halftime with all kinds of momentum.
Outweighed, Terry, by what, 30 pounds up front?
Actually 40.
Yeah, well, add 10 to what I just said. But look how many white jerseys are in every single hole.
Yeah, every gap's taken with this front, and one of the reasons, Pat, is the emotion and the quickness.
And you know what? They've kept the emotion. Sometimes you have the emotion for the first series or two, Terry, but you lose it. But, boy, a lot of guys playing their last game. And, West Virginia has plenty of time. They have 3 timeouts in over a minute, and they're in Oklahoma Sooner territory.
Yeah, I think they'll go for the quick strike here and try to really put a knockout punch on them.
An opportunity to take a 3-touchdown lead into the locker rooms. Devine pitches it back. The pass, and flags are down all over the field. It was Brandon Hogan that threw that pass out to Darrell Jalla, but flags came in before that play even had a chance.
Yeah, Marcus Walker was pass interference, but good play by Marcus Walker, because that could have been a touchdown. And he felt it, interfered. It's one of those times you say, good interference by Marcus Walker. There's such a thing as good pass interference, Terry. Is that an oxymoron?
No, I think it was a good play when you get.
You know what an oxymoron is?
Pat, I know you're Rhodes Scholarship.
Holding, number 24 on the defense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That's a good hold by him.
Let me finish my thought. I know you're a Rhodes Scholar, but you spell it R-O-A-D-S, right?
I know.
Take a look at the hold by Marcus Walker again.
Yeah, Marcus Walker had a big interception last year against Boise State and ran it for a turn down. There's the hold. I think probably a smart play.
Good play call by Calvin McGee going for the home run.
Right, you called it.
Schmidt takes takes a village to get him down on the ground. Lewis Baker led the charge for OU, and Schmidt picks up maybe 2.
You know, he started at Division III Wisconsin River Falls that you mentioned, Matt, and after there he kind of created a tape. He and his mom drove around, knocked on doors, delivered the tape to West Virginia. They weren't even expecting him, just dropped it off.
And he told us he didn't think he was big enough to play in the Big East. Could you imagine that?
No.
White's pass is incomplete, intended for Jock Sanders. So it brings up 3rd and 8 with 31 seconds left. And again, West Virginia has 3 timeouts.
And one thing you're thinking about here, if you're calling plays, you're thinking about, hey, can we make a big play, but what do I need for my field goal? You know, how much yardage do I need to help my kicker? So if I don't get my 7 points, I can at least get 3 on the board after that great defensive stop on 4th and 2.
He's long as 49, so they need to get to the 32-yard line, which is just a couple of yards.
Mountaineers are 2 of 6 on 3rd down so far. White keeps. He's got a seam. And tackled just shy of the 1st down. Curtis Lofton prevented the 1st down there.
Right back into field goal range. Good play by Pat White. Just when he looked like he was getting bottled up, Terry, maybe gets sacked. And
we got time ticking here, and Pat White finally calls the timeout. They got to get the field goal unit out there at some point.
Well, they have 3 of them. You might as well just let it burn down to, what, 3 seconds or so?
Yeah, they're doing the right thing here. They don't want another play after the kick.
Yeah.
A reminder, this Sunday, it's a Fox NFC wildcard matchup as the New York Giants travel to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers in round 1 of the NFL playoffs. Coverage of the wildcard begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific in high definition right here on Fox. And as we start to think about NFL football over the weekend, Jeff Garcia completing passes at a higher percentage. Eli with more touchdown tosses and far more picks. Garcia has been so accurate this year.
You know, you're looking for at least a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, but indeed Jeff Garcia has been quite a story in the last 5 or 6 years. Another tough guy.
Boy, he is tough. And I tell you, he has revamped Tampa Bay. You know, you talk about a Banny Rooster. He is a tough guy.
How about if you're an Oklahoma fan, a blocked field goal?
Yeah, you'd love a miss or a blocked field goal here.
Just get something going into halftime.
You think you're watching the FedEx Orange Bowl tomorrow with Frank Beaver, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And now OU will take a timeout. Not quite one of those tacky freezing the kicker timeouts that we seem to see on Saturdays and Sundays all of a sudden. But Bob Stoops wants to think this one through and talk to his defensive captains. This will be from 44 yards away for Pat McAfee, who is 2 of 3 so far.
You know what's going to happen, Bob? He's going to go in that locker room. He's going to gather with his coaches and say, hey, boys, what's happening to us? What do we have to do to get back in this game and get our football team back on the field?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, West Virginia gets the ball to start the second half. They need a really good defensive series to start the second half, Terry.
Yeah, no question about it. That's right. And you have to figure out how can we move the ball offensively. We're going to have OU's going to have 100 yards of total offense in the first half.
It's unbelievable.
You know, it's unbelievable. So you got to figure out how we're going to get some yardage and create some enthusiasm. Big plays, as you know, that's the enthusiasm that generates a team.
I'd ask Adrian Peterson to come back second half.
Again, McAfee from 44 yards out, and that one is in fact blocked.
Big play by the Sooners going into halftime. Important play for the Sooners and Bob Stoops.
Well, the Crimson and Cream have something to smile about at halftime, but it's West by gosh Virginia with the halftime lead. Let's send it down to Chris Rose in the Southwest Airlines halftime show.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Coming up next on the Southwest Airlines halftime show, I'll be rejoined by Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer for their first half analysis. We'll hear from both school marching bands and have the amazing story of the 1951 University of San Francisco Dons as told by Morgan Freeman. That's when we come back to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Welcome to the Southwest Airlines halftime show on Fox.
Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer with their first half analysis coming up in just a bit. But first, enjoy the sights and sounds of the University of West Virginia Marching Band. Virginia leading Oklahoma 20-6 in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer will break it all down when we return to Glendale right after this.
Welcome to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
Darius Renaud has caught 12 of West Virginia's 15 TD passes this season. That one gave the Mountaineers a 20-6 lead at halftime of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show. Chris Rose, Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, and kudos to Bill Stewart and his coaching staff so far. He promised in the pregame interview that his team was ready to go, and especially defensively tonight, Barry.
No question about it. Players play. Total domination by West Virginia's defense. You know, I didn't expect this. I don't think Oklahoma Sooners expect the lowest production all year offensively. Rushing yardage, 11 yards. Total offense, 100 yards first half.
And very surprising because West Virginia in 8 straight bowl games has allowed at least 30 points. Offensively, they're managing the game very well. And we talked about Owen Schmidt, their outstanding fullback in the pregame. We actually showed you a little personality. He chews up cardboard for a living. Now he's chewing up yardage, Jimmy.
Owen Schmidt, I said I wasn't real sure about it, but I guarantee you he could play for me. Eating all that cardboard gave him energy to take it to the house. I tell you what, this entire West Virginia team, you look at Bill Stewart, he's got them focused. They're playing with passion, intensity. He's saying, I'm interim coach right now, but throw my hat in the ring. I got a chance to be the head coach right now.
Well, real quickly, guys, look forward to the second half. What does your school have to do to get back in this thing?
Well, I tell you what, they got to find some answers in a hurry because it's been a total domination. Offensively, they can't do anything. Defensively, they control the ball on the snap, so it's going to be something quick.
1 point, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think they've got to shore up the protection because they're not protecting Bradford well enough. Protect him, he can throw the ball down the field.
All right, well, after this one, guess what, Jimmy? We got to go on a plane. He's got his sleepwear ready. He's going to take a little nap because after this, we take the Marquis Jet on over to Miami for tomorrow's FedEx Orange Bowl. It's Kansas and Virginia Tech. With a preview, here's Kenny Albert and Daryl Moose Johnston.
Here in South Florida, we're less than 24 hours away from the FedEx Orange Bowl featuring Virginia Tech and Kansas. Earlier today, pep rallies, the bands from both schools getting ready. The fans are excited. Kenny Albert along with Daryl Johnston, both schools with 11 victories this season. For Virginia Tech under head coach Frank Beamer, their 15th consecutive bowl appearance. Daryl on the other side, Mark Mangino and Kansas making their first ever trip to a BCS bowl game.
I'm sure for Kansas fans, there's a sense of accomplishment for the 07 season, but Mark Mangino hopes it's the first step in sustaining success for this Kansas football program. He wants to be like Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. You mentioned the 15 consecutive bowl games. 4 consecutive 10-plus win seasons, but still a lot of work to do for this Hokie team. They can finish number 2 nationally in the polls, and they've yet to have a 12-win season.
Well, it should be a terrific matchup. Kansas with a high-powered offense. They score over 44 points per game, led by quarterback Todd Reesing, going up against one of the top defensive units in the nation.
Kansas will come into this game as the underdog, but Todd Reesing has been the underdog throughout his career. He quarterbacks the spread offense, but with Kansas, you have to remember this is a balanced attack. They have Brandon McAnderson, who adds a great element in the running game, and for Virginia Tech to slow this offense down, it's built on speed, it's built on athleticism. I don't think anybody exemplifies that better than number 17, Cam Chancellor. If Virginia Tech is going to have an opportunity to slow this offense down for the Kansas Jayhawks, a lot of that burden falls on Cam Chancellor's shoulders.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Tomorrow night, the FedEx Orange Bowl here in Miami, Virginia Tech, and Kansas. Now back to you guys in Arizona.
All right, Kenny, we'll see you tomorrow night. Now, there is one last tape that Jimmy Johnson ran into our production meeting with. He said, please show this at halftime, okay? I said, no, I wasn't going to do it to Barry Switzer, but go ahead. It's the championship game, FedEx Orange Bowl 20 years ago.
Oh, was that a long time ago?
With your clothes on.
That was a long time ago.
I know. Hey, look at you.
You needed that. I remember that's what you told me.
All right, guys.
You need it more than I did. That's what you told me.
Plenty more coming your way on the Southwest Airlines halftime show. When we come back, it'll be the remarkable story of the 1951 University of San Francisco Dons, as told by Academy Award-winning actor Morgan Freeman, why being undefeated and not going to a bowl game was one of the most important stands in college football history. But right now, it is West Virginia making a stand. The Mountaineers have the lead over Oklahoma in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
You heard from the University of West Virginia marching band. Time right now to turn it over to the Pride of Oklahoma. So enjoy. Coming up, a college football history lesson. Morgan Freeman with the story of the 1951 San Francisco Dons when we continue.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Show on Fox.
Tonight, Tostitos is proud to present the remarkable tale of the 1951 University of San Francisco Dons, whose courage and brotherhood remind us that college football is not only a game, but a reflection of the true human spirit. Academy Award-winning actor Morgan Freeman has their inspirational story.
In 1951, the University of San Francisco Dons accomplished one of the greatest seasons in the history of college football. The coaches and players were told a postseason invitation would be extended if they agreed to one stipulation: leave their 2 African-American players at home.
When we heard that we couldn't bring our 2 African-Americans to play in the bowl, we said, no way, no way.
When we took our stand of not going to the bowl, we were the reason that eventually black players played in bowl games.
If you look at the guys that we had on that team, and if we wore Notre Dame jerseys with Irish written on the back, people would be writing about us today.
How exceptional was this team? 9 players went on to play in the National Football League. Ollie Madsen, Gino Marchetti, and Bob St. Clair are enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Burl Tola became the league's first African-American referee. Athletic publicist, future NFL commissioner, Pete Rozelle.
Pete Rozelle once said, if I had another franchise, I would take that entire team, and inside of 3 years, they'd be champions.
For Tostitos, to give us this championship moment is something we will remember the rest of our lives.
You can't cry over what happened. We were a great team.
This team was part of something great, and greatness stays with a person forever. Their exploits may be ancient, may even be forgotten, but their integrity will never be questioned. These men lived it.
But from the collegiate heroes of the past to future champions, being part of a championship bowl game is an accomplishment every team dreams of. The undefeated 1951 Dons should have earned their rightful place in sports history, but their opportunity was denied. Because Tostitos believes in bringing people together, they've reunited this champions with the hope that their story lives on and takes its rightful place in college football history. That is a story worth telling. Second half kickoff coming your way from the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl after this.
welcome you back. Halftime at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. West Virginia on top of Oklahoma, 20-6, alongside Pat Hayden and Terry Donahue, Matt Vasgersian. And guys, this isn't the Davy Goliath story to the order of Boise State and Oklahoma last year. However, the fact remains there are many people in the country that felt like Oklahoma, along with maybe USC and Georgia, were playing some of the best football in the college game at the end of the season. This is quite a surprise.
It is. I was one of those people who thought Oklahoma was playing as good as anybody at the end of the season. But I'll tell you, West Virginia has really played great defense. But I think in the second half, what Oklahoma really needs to do, they need to really have a defensive stop, a 3-and-out on defense. You know, 2 touchdowns down, get that offensive running game going. Only 11 yards rushing with that big offensive line that you've talked about. Shocking to me.
Yeah, hard to believe. West Virginia has played with such emotion, and they've played so fast. That's one thing. That defense has come from everywhere. They've really disrupted Sam Bradford, the quarterback. He's never been able to get his feet planted. He's been uncomfortable all night long. They've brought linebackers. They've brought cornerbacks. They've jumped in his face. They've done it all. The other thing is, when I look at it, it's not only the defense of West Virginia, it's the legs of Pat White. He has gotten in and out of trouble with those beautiful legs of his.
You know, and it comes as a surprise to some because Steve Slayton, after a handful of carries in the first quarter, hasn't touched the field again. We're not sure if he's good to go in the second half. They seem to have functioned just fine without him. Yeah, Owen Smith with the 47-yard touchdown run, and Noel Devine, filled in quite capably, and they mixed in a couple passes. He does not look like he's coming back, does he? No pads, no hat. He is on the sideline for the rest of this one, and I'm sure it's something of a disappointment to Steve Slayton, a major disappointment, because he was considering putting his hat in the ring and thinking about Sundays, and without having played in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, maybe he rethinks that. Well, the second January bowl game he's missed because of injuries.
I hope he does rethink it. He needs to stay at West Virginia, in my judgment, and settle on his senior year. So Noel Devine, who is filled in capably for Slayton, takes the kick back across the 20-yard line, and he pushes his way to the 24. Let's check in with Laura Oakman.
Matt, you talked about Steve Slayton. Let me update you about him right away. He's going to give it a go. That hammy's bothering him, but this kid wants to get in. They're going to put him in a couple plays. As for Coach Stewart, I think this is the most fun he's ever had, the best coach first half that he's ever had. He said he's having a great time, loves how his kids are playing, but he is disgusted with the penalty. He said he can assure us those dumb penalties will not happen in the second half. Coach Stewart says we have nothing going, obviously. They have gotten after us up front, and we have got to move the ball down the field and in the red zone.
Lauren, thanks. From the 23, West Virginia begins the second half with a swing pass to Raynaud, and he is quickly swallowed up after a gain of maybe a yard by Marcus Walker. Good first defensive play for Oklahoma. So they need a 3-and-out. Look at the first half statistics. That just screams and jumps right off your television screen. 11 rushing yards for OU. This is such a balanced offense. It has been all but shut down by the Mountaineers today. They usually average close to 200 yards rushing. Even if you take out the sacks, they've run for less than 30 yards.
Yeah, and the turnovers, no turnovers for West Virginia. That's very important.
2nd and 9 for White. And you can see everybody on that Mountaineer offensive unit checking in on the West Virginia sideline. We got some insight as to how their offense runs earlier, and the call draws an offsides violation.
Boy, that's when you had him 2nd and 10.
Yeah, as you said, Pat, they need to come out here and play really well on defense and get
offsides. Number 86 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
And they need a stop. There's Bob Stoops. He's frustrated with that. He knows, hey, we played great on first down there. Let's go and play 2nd down, and instead we give them an easy 5 yards. But if Oklahoma can get a stop here, they can get their emotion back into this game.
Adrian Taylor, the redshirt freshman, had the blocked field goal just before halftime. He's guilty of the penalty, so 2nd and 4 now. The 7th penalty of the game charged to the Sooners. Devine immediately tackled for a loss by the senior safety, DJ Wolf.
DJ Wolf, if they're going to come back, Oklahoma's going to come back, that's one of the guys, DJ Wolf, who's had a brilliant year at strong safety. Watch number 25 right up here. Kind of step right into the hole. I mean, this is a beautiful job, well coached by Brent Venables, who kind of sets him in the hole and then makes a good open field tackle. 3rd and 5.
Mountaineers are just better than 49% on third down this year, the 6th best conversion percentage in the nation. Just 2 of 7 today, however. White's third down pass is incomplete, intended for Jock Sanders.
Okay, there's the 3 and out, right, Terry?
Yeah, Oklahoma got exactly what they wanted.
Yep.
And that's what gives you a chance on the sidelines. You know, when players are trying to get the fans involved and trying to get the fans up, they're really sending a message. They're saying, we're not up. We need you to help us get up. You know, that's really what the message is.
Well, the guy that penetrated there and made it happen was Curtis Lofton. He had 12 first-half tackles. And maybe the middle linebacker, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, is going to be the guy that makes something happen defensively for OU.
Good place to start. How about a nice punt return for the Sooners, too?
It's Pat McAfee with that rugby-style punt. It's a good one. It backs Iglesias up to the 15-yard line. Iglesias breaks free of one tackler, but is taken out of bounds at the 16 by Darrell Jalla. A 57-yard punt by Pat McAfee.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. By Verizon Wireless. And by Gatorade. Every game needs a hero. Is it in you?
Looking for Chevy Chase to drive the family truckster right across that sign in Old Town Scottsdale, not far from Glendale, where we are in the Valley of the Sun. 26 Mountaineers. And it's OU's first offensive possession of the second half. Alan Patrick is the back. Bradford with time and with flags on the field finds Iglesias at the 30. Tackled by Quentin Andrews.
Talk about adjustments. You know, that's the first time they've really rolled Sam Bradford out. Nice halftime adjustment by Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator. If you're having trouble in the pocket, get your quarterback out of the pocket. And a beautiful first down call.
You're right, Pat, and look how wide open the receiver is. It's a double break and go. He just turns to the outside. The ball's well delivered, but there's a penalty against OU, and they're a little bit self-destructive.
Boy, well, they had
the whole night.
7 penalties in the first half. That's number 8.
You know, you mentioned the offensive coordinator. As we check in on the flag, you mentioned Kevin Wilson. Bob Stoops' last 3 offensive coordinators are now head coaches. 2 of them, Mike Leach and Mark Mangino, of course, are in the Big 12 going head-to-head against Coach Stoops. He's done a great job mentoring his coaches and sending them on their way to have great careers.
And Kevin Wilson's another one. I mean, his aggressive play calling, you know, with an 11-point lead in the Big 12 championship game, I thought was beautiful.
To the penalty, 1st and 15. Patrick. And Patrick breaks free into the secondary. Ryan Mundy trying to corral him, and it's Reed Williams that hits him at midfield. A big run by Alan Patrick, a gain of 38.
And Matt and Terry, just what we talked about, right? At the end of the first half, block the field goal for Oklahoma. 3 and out on defense. Get the running game going. All 3 things have happened for the Sooners at the end of the first half and as we open the second.
No question about it. And Alan Patrick here, this is what you need from your skilled players. The guys that are going to touch the ball, they got to create big plays. That generates enthusiasm and emotion in your football team.
1st and 10 from midfield. A play fake to Brown. Plenty of time for Bradford as he rolls and finds Iglesias across the 40. Joaquin Iglesias, OU's career bowl leader in receiving yards, adds 14 more.
Right now, Sam Bradford has come out, and he's been hot this half. All of a sudden, he's starting to hit his stride and starting to get his rhythm. And again, going back to Pat's point, nice job by the Oklahoma staff moving the quarterback. Get him around. He can move around in the pocket. It helps him. This is a real good throw on the run. He finds a wide open receiver. Big play for Oklahoma.
Just when they needed it.
OU lines up with Chaney as the wideout. Gresham in motion on 1st and 10. And Bradford's first down pass is caught by Gresham.
That's a guy you have to feature, I think. Jermaine Gresham only had 1 catch in the first half. 6'5", 260 203 pounds. And, you know, Bob Stoops was talking about Jermaine Gresham. I was shocked what he said. You know, he was saying that, you know, he's got the kind of ability that Adrian Peterson had at tailback. He has at tight end, and there's 3 awfully good ones. 11 touchdowns right there by Gresham. Finley's a captain. Eldridge, the best blocker on the team.
Yeah, and when you split him out wide or put him in the slot like they do, and you're playing strong safety, you're talking about a guy 6'5", 265.
Well, there he was.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah. But, you know, that is a physical guy.
Absolutely.
That strong safety's got to try to match up with.
Going in the first half, guys, OU tight ends caught all of 1 ball. Brown, and across the 20-yard line.
I can just tell you this, fellas, there's a different tempo with OU right now. You can see it, you can feel it. All of a sudden, this is the OU team that we've come to expect. They came into this game scoring 43 points a game.
Johnny Dingle is the injured Mountaineer.
First half, Johnny Dingle had a sack, caused a hold.
Yeah. Boy, he is a huge part, of course, of that 3-man front. Second team All Big East out of Miami.
If he made second team All Big East, the other guys who made first team must have had really good seasons.
Yeah, 17 tackles for loss, and you're on the second all-conference team.
And Bill Stewart, the head coach right there, was saying to us yesterday about Johnny Dingle. He said he was really an important element to this game, applying pressure off the edge. And boy, Johnny Dingle did in that first half.
And this is what happens in football. Guys are going down on you. You know that you're counting on you, the head coach, in your first game. You're making your debut, and you want all your players out there, you know, and all of a sudden a guy like that goes down, or you lose Slayton, and I'm telling you, your gut starts churning, but you keep playing through it. You just keep playing.
Yeah, I'm always surprised with coaches who are surprised they're going to get guys hurt. It happens every week.
He's telling one of the officials he's been chop blocked for the last 30 minutes as he hobbles off the field. This is Brown right up the middle, and a flag down on the play. Brown's inside the 10. Well, they run right at that front without Dingle on the field.
Will that be another penalty against Oklahoma? My goodness.
Holding, number 72 on the offense.
Wow.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
That's the first team All-American Duke Robinson, and maybe the best athlete on the line.
Yeah, just 8th penalty of the game right in here. Whoops, I got too many circles going. Double team on the nose, then on the linebacker. Well, that wasn't a hold. They must have the wrong number. That wasn't on Duke Robinson. He didn't hold anybody there.
So 2nd and 16 after the penalty. Try with Alan Patrick this time, and Patrick doesn't gain much, maybe a gain of 2. Antonio Lewis came up from right corner to make the tackle. Johnny Dingle's still on the field.
He came back in. He's limping around, but he came back in.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think right now anybody who can walk and muster up any energy for West Virginia
we got to play.
is going to go all the way with this football game. It's just too important to this team and to the state and everything.
One of the seniors playing in his final game as a Mountaineer. 3rd and 11 now. It has been an impressive drive for Bradford. They covered 63 yards.
West Virginia showing pressure.
Oh, a hold. No flag on the field. Somebody had a handful of Johnny Dingle there. We saw it from a mile up here, and the WVU sideline is going nuts. It happened right in front of him.
Yeah, they still forced a field goal attempt nonetheless, but it would have taken them out of field goal range had they called it, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's no question. It's a missed call by the official. They simply miss it. I don't blame them.
Right
you can see it right here.
Yeah, Brandon Walker's got that is an absolute hold takedown. You know, that's a big play. It would have kicked them out of field goal range.
That is an egregious looking hold that went unbeknownst to the officiating crew. So Garrett Hartley's on for the field goal attempt at 42 yards. And thanks in part to the non-call, they have enough distance for Hartley to get OU on the scoreboard here in the 3rd quarter. Nissan and the all-new 2009 Nissan Murano are offering fans a chance to attend the 2009 FedEx BCS National Championship game in Miami. Log on to www.foxsports.com/Nissan Murano for details on how to enter for your chance to win. Well, I know that field goals aren't the sexiest thing in football, but these kickers, Garrett Hartley and Pat McAfee, have set a couple of Tostitos Fiesta Bowl records today with 7 attempts and 5 makes.
It's amazing. One team coming in was averaging 43 points, the other 39. They've scored a lot of touchdowns prior to this game.
Noel Devine at the 4. And across to the 25-yard line before being tackled by Brett Bowers.
Hey, man, let's go back and look at the touchdown that made it 20-3 in that second quarter. Watch the play-action fake that Pat White makes. The effect on the defensive backs, that's the key thing. Great fake there. It takes the defensive back, the strong safety, who should be playing the post area, right, Terry?
Yes.
And it makes the wide receiver big opening spot for Reynard to catch an easy touchdown pass. So you run it, you fake it, and then your receiver comes wide open at the post.
Noel Devine tackles at the 30-yard line. Devine picks up 6. Adrian Taylor there to make the stop for OU.
Pat, going back to your point, when you can make pass look like run and run look like pass, you're cooking on offense.
And it makes it hard on defense, doesn't it?
It really does, and that's the game when you're trying to make it look the same. The defense can't read it. When they can read and recognize, they can jump it.
Call it 2nd and 5 now for the Mountaineers. With Schmidt in the backfield, blowing up his man. And it's White who utilizes that big block to get a couple of yards in front of DJ Wolf.
You know, this second half here has gone just the way Oklahoma's wanted it to go, coming out of the locker room. You know, you talked about the block field goal they had right at the end of the first half, but then they come out here, and so far in this half, they're moving a little different. They're playing with a little higher intensity, and West Virginia has got to make sure they keep playing wide open and don't sit on a 20-9 lead.
Schmidt comes off the field in favor of Devine on 3rd and 2. You see the OU bench trying to hoot and holler some enthusiasm. And White's 3rd down pass is caught and then dropped by Jock Sanders. Boy, there's your first down reception.
Yeah, there's a big miss.
Boy, they shouldn't let those two guys sit together. At least keep them in that order, I'll tell you. You can get the bloggers going all day on that one.
Well, there's a missed opportunity for West Virginia there. Boy, he had him open for the first, just a drop ball. And, you know, Terry, you just talk about the momentum swinging. Right. You feel it going Sooner way?
Yeah, you do. You feel it swinging just a little bit. Anytime you're playing 3 downs and out, you're feeling real good on your sideline. You're saying, okay, now we're in the rhythm.
Dominique Franks deep for OU. And McAfee has another good one on launch.
Oh, boy.
Franks fumbles. Ball out. And OU goes out of the back of the end zone. The safety is recorded for WVU. Nick Harris was down there among others. And it all started with the big rugby-style punt that brought Franks back about 10 yards to catch the football.
Are they going to sort it out, though? Did you see a safety call?
The ball was muffed into the end zone down there. It will be a touchback. 1st and 10 on the 20.
So we get the proper ruling from referee Steve Shaw. It is a touchback. And OU catches a break.
Boy.
It's 1st and 10 from the 20 for Bob Stoops and the OU offense. Let's go back to that punt, Pat, and talk about why it was a touchback instead of a safety.
Well, it was punted and it was actually muffed. And because it was muffed, the ruling is the impetus of the ball took the ball into the end zone, then recovered by Oklahoma for a touchback, not the safety.
Play action with Patrick. We got for Eric Wicks coming around the edge, and the reception made by Quentin Chaney. There he goes, taken out of bounds at the 20, or at the 40, rather, of WVU by the safety Ryan Mundy. And right out of the gate, the big pass play Bradford to Cheney, nets 42 for the Sooners.
And Terry, you hit it, the nail right on the head. This is a different emotional mindset and feeling for this Oklahoma team. And the aggressive play calling, Quentin Cheney, 6'5", giant target, the 6'5" Sam Bradford.
Yeah, there's no question. Things in football can change so fast on you, and everything can go your way for 30 minutes, and all of a sudden the other guy, everything's going his way.
By the way, Cheney had a total of 56 yards all season. He's already good for 110 today as we go back and take a look at the punt.
First of all, great punt back in the corner of the end zone. There it's muffed. So the impetus of the ball is still providing that, but pushing that ball into the end zone, recovered by Oklahoma. That is a touchback, not a safety.
Yeah, that's a ruling on the field. It did not look to me like the ball carried itself into the end zone. It looked like it was swatted by a defensive player into the end zone, and in that case, it would be a touchback.
On 2nd and 6, this is Patrick, and he's a yard or two shy of the first down. Reed Williams makes the stop for the Mountaineers.
A couple of big pass plays this second half. It's a good running. They mixed the plays. Kevin Wilson, their offensive coordinator, generally a pretty aggressive play caller, been much more aggressive this second half.
Well, right now they've got the running game going a little bit. That's helping the play-action pass. And there's no question about it. West Virginia's got to bring the heat here and continue to blitz and try to create big plays against this offense.
Gresham resets on 3rd and short. And it looks like Bradford wants a timeout.
Timeout, Oklahoma. That's their first timeout
on the move.
Of the second half.
And down by a couple of scores.
Chance to win a trip to next year's BCS title game. And by Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? Michael Crabtree is a candidate for the AT&T All-America Player of the Year. To vote for Crabtree, text VOTE to 87654 on your AT&T wireless phone or go to foxallamerica.com. You could win a trip to next year's national championship game.
Well, since converting on their first 3rd down of the football game, OU is 0 for their last 8. 3rd and 2 here. Bradford had called a timeout, maybe to address such 3rd down conversion issues. And out of the shotgun, he looks to the sideline. First down OU, Joaquin Iglesias. Something that we should mention, guys, the passing attack is a little debilitated for the Sooners because Malcolm Kelly has not been on the field in the second half. In his absence, Quentin Cheney and Iglesias have been outstanding.
Oh, Quentin Cheney's had a career day, 110 yards in reception. I think before today, his leading day was 37 yards and catches. But Malcolm Kelly, he caught 9 touchdown passes from them this year in this part of the field. They really miss him down here in the red zone.
So after the big 3rd down conversion, this is Brown. Straight arming Antonio Lewis near another OU first down.
A couple things, I've noticed West Virginia's missed a few more tackles this half than they did in the first half. They were tackling a little better in the first half than they are right now. Some of that has to do with just expending all that emotion, and playing so hard in the first half.
Doesn't it look like Chris Brown and Alan Patrick are running a little harder, too?
Yeah.
Breaking, they're causing some broken tackles.
Yeah, and that line's coming off a little differently, and things are clicking right now for the Sooners.
Brown dragging Ryan Mundy near the goal line.
Hey, did you see the block by Brody Eldridge, number 83, that one of the 3 tight ends for Oklahoma, made the all-Big 12 team as a fullback, even though he's really listed as a tight end. And they say, hey, he is the best blocker. He's number 83, lined up at fullback, the best blocker on the team. Just eats up the corner, Antonio Lewis.
He is a converted defensive end and an absolute load for a little cornerback to handle.
Well, that's a mismatch. That's a knockdown and a knockout.
Yeah, when he get your paws on him, you're just going to get blotted out.
First and goal, OU. Trying to get into the end zone for the first time tonight. Chris Brown will do it on 1 carry. Touchdown, Sooners.
Yeah, we got a whole different complexion in the ball game right
now. Well, Chris Brown, whose big work has come in big games, 5 of his 9 touchdowns came in 2 games versus Missouri, is good for OU's first touchdown here tonight.
remember we were talking to Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator, about Chris Brown, and said, you know, he's not flashy, but he gets the job done for us. You know, you block 2 yards, he'll get you 4. You block 4, he'll get you 7.
Well, I like the combination of Patrick and Brown. When you start alternating backs and letting them roll like that, which OU has done this half a little bit more, now all of a sudden we got ourselves a ball game.
And they're going to try for the 2-point conversion here.
I think this is early to go for 2.
I would agree.
I think this is a little bit early in the game to go for 2.
And the pass is incomplete, intended for Iglesias, so it stays a 5-point game. That was their first attempt at a 2-point conversion this season. A 1-yard TD run by Chris Brown. Well, OU's into the end zone for the first time tonight. We take a look at the Taco Bell impact players of the game. Patrick White had the big first half, balanced between his feet and his arm, and Sam Bradford has thrown an interception. It came early, but of his 164 passing yards, 75 of them this quarter. So he has totally turned it around after the halftime adjusting that Kevin Wilson and Bob Stoops went through.
Well, and we got us a lot of football left, and I'll tell you, the impact player of the game at the end of the game may be a whole lot different than it is right now. I agree with who they are right now.
Onside kick attempt.
Onside kick recovered by the Mountaineers.
Well, you know what, Terry? You said the 2-point play was too early. The onside kick maybe too early.
Ridwan Malik was there to recover the onside kick for West Virginia.
Well, you know, it's like they always say, if it works, it's a great call.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, why would you do that? Well, this kick doesn't go far enough.
It didn't go 10 yards.
It's just not a good enough executed kick to perform here in the Fiesta Bowl.
And, you know, heads up, you know, Bill Stewart, who is the interim head coach, is the special teams coach for West Virginia as well. He had his guys ready, and Malik makes a very nice play. And now West Virginia, great field position.
Yeah. That's like a kickoff return all the way down to the 38-yard line of Oklahoma.
Sooners had only attempted one onside kick all year. They did not recover it either. White on the play fake, keeps it trying to get around the left side. He's bounced out of bounds after no gain by Darian Williams.
You know, again, surprising call to me, Terry. The stats are, man, I think teams recover about 10% of onside kicks, so the odds are way against you. Just when Oklahoma had a nice defensive stop, then they had a big long drive, you know, offensively.
You know, how much of this do you guys think Bob Stoops was influenced by perhaps all the trickery that they suffered from by Boise State last year?
Yeah, you know, I think you maybe a little bit, but Bob Stoops does his own thing. You know, coaches do their own thing. I think the thing you have to do here now, you try to run a trick play like an onside kick. It doesn't work. You've got to have your team mentally ready to respond.
Defense, you know, play.
You got to respond to it.
I thought I'd throw it out there. There's not 2 ounces of nonsense in Bob Stoops, and he could care less what happened at Boise State's hands last year in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
A really important 3rd down play for this Sooner defense.
3rd and 5. Empty backfield for Patrick White. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen.
Oklahoma blitz.
Boy, the blitz pickup was perfect as White runs himself a first down. Lofton makes the tackle, and that is Pat White at his very finest. First down, Mountaineers.
Fellas, there's nothing harder than coaching defense in trying to account for the quarterback on a blitz. That's the hardest thing there is about defensive football. You design blitzes. Oklahoma brings pressure here. It's a well-designed blitz, but the legs of Patrick White, that gets him off the hook.
So Patrick White continues to rise up the charts of NCAA quarterback rushers. He just passed Eric Crouch on the all-time list. White keeps it again. You know, just to quantify, guys, how hard it is to tackle Pat White. At one point this season, he rushed for 100 or more in 4 straight games. Vince Young, in his entire 3-year career at Texas, did it a total of 4 times.
The more quarterback-centered offense in turn, another 100-yard game for Patrick White on 16 rushes. His career, he's averaged, I think, 7 yards a carry, so he's just about there again. But he's had a much better passing year this year as well. 3 straight.
On 2nd and 3. Why not stick to Pat White? But the middle is duly clogged on this occasion by the redshirt freshman Gerald McCoy, the Big 12's defensive freshman of the year.
You know, a lot of people talk about the spread offense, which is what West Virginia runs. Well, the spread offense, it's a combination of the old shotgun offense, the old single wing, and the wishbone. And it takes all those elements of great offenses and it combines it into one package. That's why it's so hard to defend.
Doesn't it help when you have number 5 at quarterback, though? Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing is the quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to have a runner and a guy who can hit some balls for you at the quarterback.
3rd and a yard. White hands it off this time, and Noel Devine is in for a touchdown. A player whose last name really epitomizes how good the WVU running game has been all year. Devine for 6.
He's got Oklahoma-type speed, doesn't he, Noel Devine? He is quick.
He really is.
Big freshman year for Devine.
Well, the redshirt freshman whose high school exploits can be seen all over the internet, and a guy who's got his own Wikipedia page has redistanced the Mountaineers from OU.
That's really good blocks by Smith, number 35. We see he had a 47-yard touchdown run. That time he clears the way for Noel Devine to score.
And you can see it open here. There's air in that defense, and that's what you love to see as a running back. You love that air.
Yeah.
Great Looks brought to you by DLP and the amazing picture cam. DLP, the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. DLP, it's amazing. It's the mirrors. And Noel Devine running like he's covered in smoke and mirrors here tonight.
You see the block, though, by Owen Smith?
Yeah.
Right in the perimeter.
Physical.
Yeah.
Very physical. You know, going back to the onside kick, the ill-fated onside kick. Those are things that stay with you forever in your coaching career. If you don't win the game, if you win the game, you forget everything. Yeah. But if you end up losing a football game, you go back and you can't sleep at night because it's torture for you. You wonder, why did we do that?
And chasing the points too early on the two-point play, as you mentioned. So, you know, again, Sam Bradford, still plenty of time. They need to respond again, right? I mean, right back at it. This is what makes the game fun. If you're a quarterback, you got to answer the bell.
So Pat McAfee will kick it away. 3:34 left in the 3rd quarter.
Pat McAfee has had a terrific game punting the ball. Boy, he did a great job.
And it bounces its way to Joaquin Iglesias, who starts the return at the 4. The flags in the backfield, and Iglesias turns the corner across midfield. McAfee in his way, and Iglesias is wrapped up by the kicker at the 33. Check in on the flags here, of course. The flag was well in front of the play, as I misspoke.
During the return, holding number 5 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st and 10.
That's 10 penalties.
Yeah. 10th penalty on OU, and this one's charged to Nick Harris as we check in with Laura Oakman.
Well, you guys, Noel Devine makes it look so easy, but his high school coach said he wouldn't wish this kid's path on his worst enemy. Noel lost both of his parents to AIDS and saw his best friend murdered. Everyone who meets him loves this kid. He actually worked with Deion Sanders, who tried to adopt him. At 19, just 19, he is flourishing on and off the field at West Virginia. He's even drawn comparisons to Barry Sanders. What do you guys think of that? Pretty lofty.
I tell you, he's got some quicks.
He's got speed.
OU keeps it on the ground. And it's Alan Patrick for a gain of 3.
Excuse me, man. I just love those stories about guys overcoming so many things that it's hard to imagine.
Well, and just think of him tonight. Steve Slayton goes down. Yeah. You know, he's the star of the team, 1,000-yard rusher, 55 touchdowns in his career. He's down for the game, and all of a sudden, this guy gets his opportunity, and there you go.
Well, we're having an opportunity tonight to see why Steve Slayton's carries are down this year.
Yeah, precisely.
You got to distribute the ball with all these weapons. Manuel Johnson splits wide. Batted down. Morty Ivy, who had a huge game in the big conference win versus UConn to seal up the Big East title, is here to swat it away.
You look at Morty Ivy, he just looks like a good player. You know, 6'3", 235-pound outside linebacker. Got some leaps here. Had a big year as a pass rusher. You know, 6 sacks. He forced 3 fumbles, recovered a couple more, had an interception. Did just about everything for the Mountaineer defense this season.
Well, and you can't blame Sam Bradford for that. You know, you got a guy right in your face, Pat. You've been there. You know what that's like. Yeah. It's hard to get rid of the ball with that kind of pressure.
Sooners are 2 of 10 on 3rd down tonight. Bradford's pass is caught by Joe John Finley, well shy of an OU first down.
He's watching Reed Williams. I think it was Reed Williams off the corner on a pass rush. Boy, just so quick off the ball, these defensive ends for West Virginia.
That was a hold. You saw it, Pat. I saw it. There was another hold by the OU offensive line.
Absolutely. Watch down here. Whoops, I missed it.
It's the left
part of the screen. Yep.
You've got big Phil Lodeholt there trying to block. He's 352 or so, and he's trying to move out on a smaller, faster guy. You just can't get protected.
Listen, give speed the nod over the size today. We spent so much time talking about how beefy the OU line is. They have been out-quicked tonight.
There, Brian, you say luck follows speed.
Nall punting to Von Rivers. Rivers slips at the 19. And he is wrapped up at the 25-yard line. Mario Pleasant making the special teams tackle for OU. These aerials brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. We are at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
You know, guys, if I'm Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, and Bill Stewart, the interim head coach, I'm thinking knockout right here. If I can get me a big play right now, and I can maybe knock out my opponent if I can put one on him right now. So don't be surprised. It's a real play-action passing here, looking for the touchdown.
Well, Pat White is a walking 40-yard gain.
Divine. And he slips between a couple of tacklers and is taken down to the 27 after a 3-yard gain by Darian Williams.
Well, he's not a very big guy, is he? I mean, you look at that guy, 5'8", 170 pounds, and it's not like he's ripped. I mean, he's a good-looking athlete, but he's sleek, and he's just not very big. You look at his legs. And
that's why he's a great role player. You know, Slayton gets most of the carries, but he gets a few himself.
Boy, and I'll tell you, West Virginia has run all over what has been a great run defense all year for OU. We are inside of a minute remaining here in the 3rd quarter. White's across the 30. Cuts it back inside. Pat White at the 40, the 30-yard line, and finally taken down by Dominique Franks.
You know, he was almost tackled 3 different times. He just kept going.
But, you know, OU has played a lot of spread offense. You know, they've played Texas A&M. They've played Missouri. They've played against this offense, but they haven't played against the guy that has the moves, the avoid, the speed that Pat White has.
Yeah, you know, he's only a junior. You mentioned he's coming back. Good chance of winning the Big East Offensive Player of the Year for the 3rd straight year next season. Man, he's been injured in 4 different games, but still had a spectacular season.
White flips this to Raynaud, and Darius Raynaud continues to gas the Sooners' run defense. Touchdown, West Virginia! The 42-yard run by Pat White, and then a 30-yard touchdown scamper by Darius Raynaud.
And you know what, Matt? You know, great run, great call and all that, but Ryan Stanchak, number 62, the left tackle, threw the key block that allowed him to score. There's a West Virginia guy right there, Bill Stewart.
Right now, it's the quickness and the speed of West Virginia. Oklahoma just can't handle it.
The point after is true. And the underdog Mountaineers have taken a 34-15 lead on the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, Terry, you talk about a knockout punch. They just maybe delivered it here. It's the right kind of call. Great fakes again. But watch number 62, the left tackle. Watch it go. Big hustling and the kick-out block that allows Raynaud to kind of get into the end zone.
No question. You love it when those big offensive linemen get down the field like that.
Boy, is this a telling stat, guys.
Look at that.
3 plays by the Mountaineers, 75 yards, a minute 23, and they open up a sizable third-quarter lead.
Well, I don't know if that's a knockout punch. I've been in enough games, I can tell you this, that you can come back in football, in football games. And Oklahoma came back against Iowa State this year, and they've been in this situation before. There's a lot of time left in this game. I can just tell you, though, the momentum has certainly come back again. I thought OU had it early.
Big Mo has changed teams.
They had it early, but now West Virginia's grabbed it again.
West Virginia has 280 rushing yards tonight. The last time OU allowed 300 rushing yards in a game was 1993. This just doesn't happen to the Sooners.
You know, we all know West Virginia is looking for a coach. Pretty good guy down there doing a job down there tonight. Bill Stewart coaching his team.
I think his interview's going well.
Yeah, that's right.
McAfee bounces another ground ball up the middle. Iglesias picks it up at the 9. And Iglesias has a lot of space on the right side of the field. Joaquin Iglesias tries to cut it back inside and is tackled at the 48 by Ridwan Malik, a 49-yard return. Tomorrow, the Bowl Bash continues with the FedEx Orange Bowl as the Kansas Jayhawks look to end their Cinderella season with a win as they take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Our coverage of the FedEx Orange Bowl begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and high def here on Fox.
Well, this is the time now Oklahoma's got to respond. West Virginia just responded. Oklahoma's got great field position here on the 48-yard line. They got a great return there. They're in position here to move this football and respond to that touchdown.
Chris Brown, the lone back, to swing past Emmanuel Johnson. He gets around the corner. Emmanuel Johnson runs out of bounds just shy of the first down marker, a gain of 9.
A young West Virginia team. Whoever coaches them next year is going to inherit a pretty good football team.
Well, Oklahoma too. You're going to get another year of Pat White.
Yep, another year of Pat White.
Bonus for anybody.
Probably Steve Slayton. The whole offensive line has a chance of coming back. And there's a guy who's having some fun.
I tell you,
don't you love it?
You gotta love him.
Yeah.
He hasn't been a head coach very long. He's having way too much fun.
I see that furrow on his brow.
He isn't suffering enough. I hate that guy.
Bradford with the long ball down the middle of the field. His receiver was on his duff, and they flagged the cornerback Antonio Lewis as Manuel Johnson was on his knees when that ball got to him.
Well, judgment call. Is that catchable?
I don't know, but it's a good call for OU right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Again, getting down there and responding to what West Virginia did. Come right back on offense and respond and keep yourself right here.
Pass interference, number 6 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down. We will extend the quarter with an untimed down.
Cannot end a quarter on a penalty like that, so the penalty will expand the quarter.
Yeah, Bill Stewart's saying the same thing. Is that ball catchable? Clearly he ran into him, right?
I think what they're saying here is if you get knocked down, you don't have an opportunity to catch the ball.
And these athletes are so great. What is uncatchable today? Today's game with these great wide receivers.
I think clearly there.
Good call.
The offensive guy didn't have the opportunity to continue the run.
So an untimed down, and this will end the third quarter.
They extended one play here because of the penalty.
Brown branches across the 25 and is moved by Reed Williams. Well, Bill Stewart's trying to become the first interim coach this bowl season to win a game. His Mountaineers are on top 34-15. The Fox crew travels to the BCS Bowl games powered by NetJets with their marquee jet card.
Somebody didn't call me. I didn't make that flight.
Well, there's a school bus out back with
yeah.
that says Hayden Donahue Vasgersian, and that's how we're getting out of here tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
Somebody didn't call me on that one.
Well, Bob Stoops trying to put a little octane back into his offense. Fourth quarter underway. Patrick. And he is bottled up at the 22-yard line.
Boy, that was good defense right there by West Virginia. They played their gaps perfectly, and all of a sudden the pursuit came and knocked the running back backwards. That's just how you design it. No question about it. Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, he's going to be pleased when he looks at that. And Bob Stoops is sitting there saying, hey, I've got to get me a touchdown right
Well,
now.
yeah, down 19. You know, you can't even think about field goals here. You got 2 downs, right? 3rd and 4th down to get the first down.
Yeah, I think he'll go for it on 4th down. I agree with you, Pat.
Just a reminder on that graphic, the 18 Oklahoma points scored in last year's Tostitos Fiesta Bowl included an overtime period. Chris Brown, the ball carrier, and he's tackled near the first down. He'll be just short as Morty Ivy makes the hit for the Mountaineers.
Hey, it's a 4th down now for Oklahoma. We have seen West Virginia play really good short yardage defense there. Really good.
That's a good point, and I think OU will go for this. And there's no question that West Virginia now is getting into the short yardage defense. Emotionally, for each team, this is a huge play right here. Yeah. If you're OU, you got to make 4th and 1. If you're going to win this game, you've got to make this 4th and 1 and punch this ball and keep the drive going.
Or how about play action?
Yeah.
Play action, you got some big old tight ends. 2 of them lined up there on the right side right now.
Go for the home run.
Round the back. Bradford for the end zone. Touchdown OU. Everybody bought on that one. Quentin Chaney adds to his career day. A 19-yard touchdown toss to put the Sooners right back in the game.
Absolutely love the call. We were just talking about Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator, is a very aggressive play caller. Talk about what he did in the Big 12 championship game. Big 6'5" receiver in the back of the end zone was wide open. The play action fake. Terrific call, better execution.
Yeah, I think they had a bust on West Virginia's defense right there. You can see Larry Williams, the corner. He's pointing inside, looking for some safety help. Didn't get it. But I agree with you, Pat. They go for the home run, not the first down. They go for the touchdown.
And now, again, going for the 2-point play. Missed one earlier.
They keep it on the ground this time, and once again, OU falls short. 0 for 2 in the 2-point conversion tries as we take another look at Quentin Chaney, who has almost equaled his career receiving yards in one night in Glendale.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Fox is sponsored by DLP HD TV. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. By DirecTV. Now get over 85 of the best channels in HD and more coming throughout the year. And by Tostitos. Free the fun.
Well, so far tonight in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the Mountain Man has outrun the Sooner Schooner. It is 34-21 for interim coach Bill Stewart and the West Virginia Mountaineers. Vaughn Rivers from the goal line. Rivers still going, but taken down by a couple of bodies at the 21-yard line. Brian Jackson leads the way for the Sooners.
Now, one of the things when you're playing against Pat White, you want to make sure you build a fence around him and keep him pinned in. You want to keep him in the perimeter. You can see all this space out here. Watch Pat White here on the pass. As soon as OU's defense comes inside, you can see what he sees. He feels all of that space out there in the green grass, and watch him go. The guy will pull the ball down, and this is what kills you as a defense. When you don't keep him contained, build a fence around him.
Pat White responsible for 241 of the Mountaineers' 377 yards of offense. The home run ball, and there they go! Tito Gonzalez, touchdown Mountaineers! 79 yards, and just when you start to worry about Pat White in the running game, they break off the big pass play.
Yeah, Calvin McGee, offensive coordinator. Great call by Calvin on his way to the University of Michigan. Asked his team whether, hey, would you guys mind if I come back and coach in the bowl game? They said, come on back, Calvin, if you call him like that.
He ought to be up there clapping.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'd be clapping if I was him too. But again, I'm going back. Oklahoma, you can't stay on the canvas. You just responded. Now you got to get back up and go again. You still got 13 minutes left in this ball game.
Now, Tito Gonzalez's first career touchdown came in the Gator Bowl last year. His longest career touchdown reception makes it a 41-21 lead for West Virginia. Now, to quote Eddie Murphy, Tito, get me a tissue. Tito Gonzalez with a 79-yard touchdown reception.
Can you throw it any better than this, Terry? Under duress, Pat White gets knocked down, throws one of those frozen ropes that only Tito Gonzalez is going to catch, breaks a tackle because he's over 200 pounds, and gets in the end zone. And a very, very emotional Tito Gonzalez.
You talk about football and how important it is to teams and individuals and all that. That's what college football, that's a picture right there. That's what it's about. All that emotion explodes onto the field.
Only other time you see a kid that age with a hardwired telephone, too.
Joaquin Iglesias from the goal line. He's tackled at the 26. And a little fracas after the play as well. Bobby Hathaway made the special teams in.
You know, it always seems in some bowl game or in the course of the season, an unusual player kind of steps up and makes some plays. And you mentioned Tito Gonzalez, kind of a quiet year, only 9 catches on the year, but a tremendous touchdown reception from Pat White.
But that shows how important these bowl games are. You know, you'll be talking about the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl and the big catch for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
Well, the Mountaineers are just under 13 minutes away from a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl victory. And while Steve Slayton has not played a role since being injured early in the game, Tito Gonzalez, Jock Sanders, Noel Devine, and certainly Pat White have been right at the middle of their success tonight. The Sooners hoping time won't run out on him. A flag on the play as Alan Patrick is the ball carrier across the 30.
I think for Sooner fans, the most disappointing thing has been the number of penalties.
Yeah. There's no question about it. This will be the 11th penalty if it's on Oklahoma.
Penalties and missed tackles tonight by OU. It has not been your typical Bob Stoops football game.
Bob Stoops is a heck of a football coach. Won a national championship in 2000.
Holding, number 79 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
He's had a rough day. Phil Lodeholt has had a rough day at left tackle.
Yeah, he really has the speed and the quickness of the game.
Bob Stoops, son of a coach, and grew up Youngstown, Ohio, one of 6 kids. 3-bedroom house, he was telling us. And used to ballpark was down the road, play all their football, baseball, and games down the road.
Coaching family, the Stoops, of course, he's got a couple of brothers that coach up the road in Tucson at the University of Arizona. But something tells me that the desert air just doesn't really breathe real well for Coach Stoops these days. 1st and 20 after the penalty. The 11th of the football game charged to the Sooners. On play action, Manuel Johnson. Out across the 20.
I'm just going to finish it up on Bob Stoops, and he was telling us the other day, you know, his dad coached at Cardinal Mooney High School there in Youngstown for 28 years, was the defensive coordinator, and actually died on the sideline coaching one of those games. And his brother, Bob's brother, Ron Jr., is now the defensive coach there still.
Yeah, Bob Stoops, I covered his team when he was at Florida as a defensive coordinator, and we were doing games there. He worked for Steve Spurrier. I've known Bob Stoops a long time. He is a quality guy and really a tough, good, solid football player.
Bradford's second down pass caught by the tight end Gresham. He'll still be short of a first down as it takes a handful of tacklers to bring him to his knees. Let's check in with Laura.
You guys were talking about the Stoops family tree. Bill Stewart knew Bob for recruiting days and even recruited 2 of Bob's brothers. Both staffs the other night were at a banquet this week, and while talking to the crowd about Coach Stewart, Stoops looked at West Virginia's athletic director and said, it's about time to remove that interim tag. Now, Coach Stewart didn't want to comment on that because he didn't want to sound like he was politicking. That's not his style, but he did get emotional when I asked about it, saying it meant the world to me that he would say that.
3rd and 2. Chris Brown has the Oklahoma first down.
Good.
And there's a flag after the tackle again.
Good tough run by Chris Brown. Knew exactly what he needed to get the first down.
One of the things Oklahoma's got to think about, they're 20 points down right here. You got to be thinking about no huddle offense. You know, the clock's the enemy right now. And
personal foul, face mask, number 6 on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
You know, you got to be thinking from a strategic standpoint. Okay, I've got to get 3 scores here.
Get in and out of the huddle.
And I got to move that clock, and I've got to play fast now. I don't have a lot of time. The clock is not the ally; it's the enemy.
And some wide receivers have to think about maybe breaking a tackle or 2, right? Terry?
You got to get some big plays.
Yeah, make some plays after the catch. And this is the guy down here who's made most of them today for the Sooners, Quentin Chaney.
The 2 leading receivers in this game, Chaney for OU and Gonzalez for West Virginia, had less than 200 combined receiving yards all season. And a flag on the play. And let me tell you, not only can Quentin Chaney, not only can he catch a ball, he can sell a call too.
Well, there are going to be 2 penalties. There's going to be pass interference and then a personal foul, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that, Pat. I saw it, and I agree with you.
30 yards coming up.
Yeah. And that's what kills you. If you're West Virginia, you know, and you're over there, Bill Stewart thinking, we got this thing, we've got it, but it's never over.
Well, it's 11 minutes left, too.
It's just never going to go away until the game is over. It just doesn't die like that.
This is a team, Oklahoma, capable of big plays. 35 plays or 40 or more yards this season.
There were 2 fouls. Pass interference, number 19 on the defense. That penalty would be enforced from the previous spot, 15 yards. Then there was a dead ball, personal foul, number 21 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced at the end of the penalty. It will be a first down.
I mean, again, we said, hey, this is the guy, get the ball to. Chaney's had the big day for you. There's the hold, or the pass interference, looked like more of a hold, and then there's the personal foul.
Yeah. Pretty easy to call out.
Yeah.
The second call was a lot easier to make than the first call.
The first one might have been a hold more maybe than a pass interference.
But Chaney did a nice job to sell that too.
Yeah, you're right.
Arms and big elbows and kneecaps, wide receiver. If he moves and flails a little bit, it's a lot easier for a call to be made.
Yeah, he's going to win the Laurence Olivier Award tonight. Show my age a little bit.
Well, you know, 15-yard penalty is one thing. A 30-yard penalty, that's a different deal now.
Jacob Gutierrez has checked in at tailback for OU.
He's one of Bob Stoops' favorite guys, Gutierrez. And we said, you know, when Adrian Peterson came, he went to Jacob and said, you know, you can transfer if you want. We'll help you get there. But he said, no, I want to finish my career here. And he's been a great student, great kid.
A couple years ago at the Holiday Bowl, Jacob Gutierrez on Christmas Eve in San Diego went up to one of the volunteers with the bowl committee and said, take me to a soup kitchen, I want to serve dinner. Didn't make any big deal about it, didn't do a press release on it.
Good.
Brown checks back in. Lambert has Iglesias all by himself. Touchdown Sooners.
Don't count this Sooner team out just yet, Coach Donahue.
Oh, I didn't. I told you, get in no-huddle offense and fight the clock, and all of a sudden now, you know, things have never gone away. You know, they don't go away like that in football.
Well, after 2 missed two-point conversions, kicking units on the field here.
Now, OU's just got too much history, too much tradition, and too much pride not to play all the way through this game.
Not to mention a bunch of talent.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's pretty good coaching, too. And they've got some real talented wide receivers. And Iglesias is one of them.
I'm going to tell you, 10 minutes and 20 seconds in a ball game is a lifetime.
2-touchdown football game, fellas, as OU is on the scoreboard here in the 4th quarter.
The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on Fox is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered. By the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by Taco Bell, big fans of college bowl action.
Well, the Sooners get into the end zone to make it a 2-touchdown game. And the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl trophy among the riches, awaiting a winner here this afternoon.
Hard to stick that under the seat of your plane, isn't it?
I think Coach Donahue set that up with his bedazzler back in Westwood.
He won one of those.
In one of the highest scoring Tostitos Fiesta Bowls ever. Noel Devine takes the kick up to the 30-yard line, and that's where Pat White and company go to work.
I don't want to rub it in. Jimmy Johnson was the head coach at Miami.
Oh, you are rubbing it in. You're rubbing it in.
No, I don't want to rub it in.
You're rubbing it in. Admit it. It's okay.
No, I'm just saying that Miami, UCLA, we had a battle.
I bet you didn't want to play him next year.
No, I didn't. I never wanted to play Jimmy or Miami.
Well, I'll tell you what. Oklahoma right now needs their defense to absolutely step up, and that generally means Curtis Lofton, number 40, the guy in the middle, who's doing most of the stopping.
I agree with you, Pat. The other thing West Virginia has to do is secure the football. You played so well in the areas of turnovers. Just keep that ball tucked away.
Pat White up to the 35. It remains a salient point that in WVU's only 2 losses this year, they turned it over 9 times. Today, and I ain't trying to jinx you, Coach Stu, no turnovers by the Mountaineers.
You know, coaches talk about it all the time, and people get tired of hearing about it. You know, turnovers. Just don't turn the ball over. But it's true. When you don't turn it over, you're tough to beat. Even if the other team's a little better than you are, you're just tough to beat.
2nd and 5. Schmidt lines up in front of Devine. And behind the convoy, the one-man convoy, it took one block to break Noel Devine. Touchdown, Mountaineers! A 65-yard touchdown run. The Mountaineers have run for 350 yards on one of the best rush defenses in the nation. McAfee's point after makes it 48-28 Mountaineers. And from Wheeling to White Sulphur Springs, they're getting excited in West Virginia. These aerials are brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. As interim coach Bill Stewart keeps the rushing attack of the Mountaineers coming on OU. And the Mountain Man loving the 48-28 lead.
You love the Mountain Man.
Loves the Mountain Man, I tell you.
You good enough Mountain Man.
Think of Grizzly Adams on the Atkins diet. Coach Stewart trying to become again the first interim tagged head coach to win a bowl game this season. And look at the productivity that we've seen here in the second half. Iglesias at the goal line. Twists forward to the 20-yard line before being stopped by Andy Emery.
You wonder why plays work in football. Watch the fullback, number 35, on the lead block right out here. You see the air in the defense, and all of a sudden, Owen Schmidt knocks the safety out of the way. DJ Wolf opens up that huge hole for Noel Devine to take it all the way into the end zone. Wow, what a run. God, you love plays like that if you're coaching offense.
They have really blocked well on the perimeter. Don't you think, West Virginia? Wide receivers have. Schmidt has. They've got some fast plays.
526 yards of offense by the Mountaineers today.
Incredible. Against a really good Oklahoma defense.
Chris Brown for a couple of yards.
Well, there's Coach Calvin McGee calling those plays.
You know, the way this has gone down, and you mentioned Coach McGee, Pat, and he has announced he will in fact be going with Rich Rodriguez to Michigan, and he came back and asked the university permission and asked the players if it was okay if he came back, and they of course welcomed him back with open arms for this bowl game. But you know, there has been such bad feeling around the football program the past month in Morgantown, again with the loss to Pitt. Coach Rodriguez takes off. That's something that left the Mountaineers fans really upset. Bradford on the run, and he's out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Something to make Mountaineer football feel good about itself, certainly here tonight. Let's check in with Laura.
Tell you guys what kind of a kid Divine is. He was sitting on the bench. Everybody, including the governor of West Virginia, were coming over to congratulate him. He said, "Excuse me" to everyone, got up, walked to the other bench where his entire offensive line is sitting, walked up and shook every one of their hands. Said, "Excuse me" to the governor of West Virginia so he could go thank his offensive linemen.
I hope he thanked Owen Schmidt.
Yeah,
Big number 35.
He's big enough to be an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I agree with you.
3rd and 3 for OU. Bradford finds Iglesias. He's trying to stay on his feet. He's taken down to 34.
And Matt, you're right. You know, West Virginia fans looking for something to have really feel good about after what happened in Pittsburgh and missing out in the national championship game. It certainly is tonight. And Bill Stewart has just done a great job of getting his team ready. He'd love to be considered for the head coaching job, but he's told us the other day, I'm not going to politic for it, but it's my state, my school. I'd love to be the head coach for the Mountaineers next year.
8 minutes remaining. The hand is to Brown, who is taken down to the 40 by Bobby Hathaway and Quentin Andrews.
Pat, following up with that idea, you know, I heard Barry Switzer and Jimmy Johnson talking about players play for each other. You know, hey, if you don't have your head coach, you don't have this, you don't have that. But, boy, you get into the game and you're playing for each other. You're playing for your team. And they were exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what happened for West Virginia. They went out there and they did lose a great head coach. Rich Rodriguez had done a terrific job. And all of a sudden they just bonded together and they played their hearts out and played well.
On the play fake. Bradford on the move. And he's out of bounds with the first down around midfield. Coach Stewart, he embodies everything in my amateur mind, everything that is right with college athletics. He's a man of virtue. As you talked about that, he wants to see his recruits through, even though he's not sure not only if he'll be the head coach, he's not sure he'll be on the staff next year in Morgantown.
Maybe out of a job tomorrow.
You know, one of the neat stories, too, is that he's such a fan of the program. He was coaching here at Arizona State the last time the Mountaineers were in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl back in 1989. He told us he went into the game, snuck into the top deck with a cowboy hat on so as not to be recognized, and cried when Major Harris left the game with an injury. Bradford up top, and that one's incomplete. Again, looking for Iglesias.
Well, you know, there's been lots of names bantied about. We've seen them in the newspaper. Terry Bowden and been talked about. Butch Jones from Central Michigan, and Jimbo Fisher, Florida State. Doc Holliday of Florida. But I got to tell you, I have been really impressed with Bill Stewart, the way he's prepared his team, the unselfish attitude that he's had, the loyalty he's had for the program.
Yeah, and the emotion that he's shown has been reflected in the players. Yeah. You know, they have shown this style of emotion. There's no question about it. And if you're an OU fan, you know, you feel down and all, but you've had a great season. You won the Big 12 championship, and you just keep fighting until you can't fight any longer.
Well, this is an awfully young Oklahoma team as well. Starting with that guy, Sam Bradford, who hadn't had his best night tonight, but had a fantastic year. He'll be a sophomore next year. The whole offensive line can come back. Big question whether Malcolm Kelly will. But I think both these teams will be preseason top 10 next year. Matt, maybe Oklahoma top 5.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, when you look at who will be leaving, the seniors, the guys we know will be leaving from West Virginia. Owen Schmidt's going to be packing it up and possibly playing on Sundays. They're going to lose their 2 good safeties, Wicks and Mundy. A couple of departures of note on the OU side as well. Bradford looking for somewhere to throw the football, and never a good sign when you throw it to a guy wearing a tie. So it brings up 4th and 1 for the Sooners. OU, by the way, guys, I found it interesting that the Sooners have never had a player from the state of West Virginia. And, you know, recruiting at OU is probably easier than it is in a school from a small state. And the Sooners, like the Trojans and the Bulldogs, who we saw roll last night, their recruiting efforts are probably a little easier. They might want to start looking in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point.
Play clock winds down.
Timeout.
And a timeout is taken just before the zeros hit. Oklahoma left with one.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Your 4-game summary. We started talking about the West Virginia defense. They sacked Bradford 3 times. Bradford had only been sacked 11 times all year. Noel Devine and Steve Slayton's absence. Just the beginnings of a big day. Darius Raynaud with a TD run. His second career run for a touchdown. Tito Gonzalez with the long 79-yard touchdown catch. And then Devine with a 65-yard touchdown run. It has been all Mountaineers here in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. That's your 4-game summary.
And you know, they've done it with so many big plays. They've exploded on Oklahoma. There's no question about that. You know, they've just been able to do it, and a lot of different players have done it.
Imagine Bill Stewart as a young kid on Christmas. I mean, you think he was an excited young guy when Santa came?
He was no happier than he is right now.
Yeah, you're probably right. This is better than Christmas for him.
He only, I think only a network newsman the likes of Dan Rather could match Coach Stu for country euphemisms when he told us, I'm the same rascal that used to steal turnips from the neighbor's yard. 4th and 1. And Brown, the ball carrier, has the first down for the Sooners.
Good, solid run by Chris Brown. That's just what Kevin Wilson was saying. You know, you block 2 yards, you get you 4. I was blocked about 1 yard. Picked up 4 or 5.
So under 7 minutes left. As some of the Mountaineers, much to the chagrin of Jim Ross, feel like it's time to perhaps start having a little fun on the sideline.
Well, you know, when you're playing your last game as a senior and you're getting beaten in a bowl game like that, like Oklahoma is, that's difficult to take. That's what's hard for you. You know, you go into that locker room and you've had such a great year. If you're Oklahoma, you know,
absolutely.
You beat Missouri twice. You win the Big 12 championship game. You're on fire. You're on top of the world. Then you go to a bowl game and you play West Virginia, and you have to suffer through this kind of a game.
You know, I think,
boy, it hurts.
I think Pete Carroll has been in a similar situation as Bob Stoops with some of these recent bowls. It's an everything to lose, not much to gain situation.
Yeah, Bob Stoops has had back games like that.
Bradford up top, and Joe John Finley goes up with one of those bear paws. Does he come down with the football? No, incomplete. Flag down as well.
Bob Stoops does too, but understand he coaches them. They're the one who we talked about, these 3 tight ends a bunch.
Boy, what a great leap.
Yeah.
Well, hadn't touched the ground yet. Hasn't touched the ground yet. Hadn't touched the ground yet. Hadn't touched the ground yet.
It's touched the ground.
What a game.
But it took a while.
Joe John Finley will be one of the seniors leaving the program after
the play is ruled incomplete on the field.
I think
personal foul, roughing the passer, number 47, helmet-to-helmet contact. That'll be 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, I'll tell you, Sam Bradford's had more pressure on him today. He had just about all season. Yeah, that's a helmet. Good call, Reed Williams. He's going to call it every time on the helmet. Good call on the personal foul. Didn't need to do it. He's had a good game, great season.
It'll be the only blemish on the night for the native of Moorfield, West Virginia, population 2,400. You know, I was talking about Joe John Finley and his being one of the seniors leaving the OU program. We'll take a look at that almost great grab once again.
Well, the real question is, does the tip of the ball finally rest on the ground?
You can catch it with your legs. They actually have possession. Does he have possession right there?
See the ball rolled.
Yeah, but I thought he maybe had possession.
How does he have possession of it down there?
I disagree with both of you guys. I think that's a catch.
Okay.
That's bouncing around like a ping
Now
pong
watch.
ball.
Stop. He's got possession. You can catch him with your feet, back, face mask. I've saw a guy get one stuck in his face mask one time.
You're sticking up for him because he's an economics major.
I think you're going to lose this one, Pat.
I just like to disagree with you, Terry. You know that. Here, I probably did touch the ground, but he kept it alive as long as he could.
Well, that's a heck of an effort.
He's fighting to keep it alive. You got to give him credit. Yeah.
Well, we gave the folks upstairs plenty of looks at that. No less an athletic effort by Joe John Finley, even if it is ruled as an incompletion.
John Finley, one of those tight ends, came to Oklahoma as a skinny little quarterback. 200-pound quarterbacks leaving as a 261-pound tight end. And we have another look at this again. There's the ball touching the ground, I believe. Coach Donahue. And then he kind of scoops it up. I'm going to go back to my catch. I'm going to, just for fun, against you two.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Therefore, we will penalize the roughing the passer from the previous spot, 15 yards. It'll be an automatic first down.
First time I've been wrong in 2008. It'll be many more, by the way.
Right. Congratulations here in early January.
Yeah. Off to a good start.
Well, the drive stays alive for the Sooners. And it's of small consequence, but a little additional carrot perhaps for Sam Bradford, who will have an opportunity at a third touchdown pass tonight. The only two quarterbacks in OU history to throw for 3 touchdowns in a bowl game are on his coaching staff, and one of them standing to his right, Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel, what a career he had at Oklahoma. Won a national championship in 2000.
I think he won 80% of the games he started, I think, Pat.
You're right.
I think he was 20 and 5, 8.
Heisman Trophy runner-up. I mean, he really had it going that year.
Along with Cale Gundy, also on Bob Stoops' staff, the only OU QBs to throw 3 TDs in a bowl game.
Well, and Cale Gundy's a recruiting coordinator. He's done a great job helping OU put together a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Swing past Emmanuel Johnson. He looks for a block in front of him. It was down on the ground, so it's up to the 22-yard line. Another flag comes in after the play.
A good defensive play by Vaughn Rivers, number 19, in the corner, forcing the play back inside. Like Glaciers was going to dance around the corner, but Vaughn Rivers is great position.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 71 on the offense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. It'll be second down.
Trent Williams, the sophomore right tackle. Well, these great shots all night have been provided by the DLP Amazing Picture Cam. DLP is the official HD TV of the BCS on Fox. DLP, it's amazing, it's the mirrors.
Does that put Oklahoma over 100 yards in penalties, Terry?
Yeah, it does. 12 for 105 yards.
Oh,
sure does.
200 combined penalty yards today. Bradford swings it out to Iglesias.
Well, here's a flag.
Shocker. Is that flags on 4 straight plays?
I lost track after 2.
Flags on 3 straight plays. We have a consecutive flags statistician for this bowl game
what's
tonight.
the record for the Fiesta Bowl?
Well, he's got to get online again. Neither coach is pleased with all these, certainly the personal penalties that are happening here, the roughing the passers.
Bob Stoops into Trent Williams' face.
You know, we used to have a saying in coaching, you learn from a mistake directly proportional.
During the play, holding, number 1 on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
Directly proportional to how much you suffer
on the
when you do it.
bench.
You know?
That's our first warning.
And I think that's what Bob Stoops was doing right there.
Yeah.
He was making sure he made his point, and I think that's good coaching. I really do, because, you know, he's going to go back. He's got spring practice. He's got the off-season program.
Got a good team coming back.
He's got a really good young team coming back, and he's making a point. And I'm loving it.
A Fiesta Bowl record, a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl record of 225 penalty yards tonight.
Yeah, that's what the fans came to see.
Yes. Penalties and punts. There has been plenty of offense in this one tonight. It's been a lot of fun to watch. This is Moses Madu.
Yeah, 526 yards of offense for West Virginia and almost 380 for OU, in spite of all those penalties.
That's an amazing output from West Virginia's offensive football team.
Against this defense?
Yeah, against this defense coming in and Oklahoma coming into this game, they've given up 18 points a game. They were 9th in the country, but most important, they'd only given up 91 yards rushing a game. Are you kidding?
350 tonight.
Bradford on the play fake, and he's taken down from the backside by Zach Cooper, the sophomore weak side linebacker.
What's that, the 4th sack now? There's only 11 coming into the game.
I think when Oklahoma looks back on this game, they're going to reflect and they're going to clearly say that one of the things that just hurt us was the West Virginia speed. We weren't as quick as West Virginia.
But again, it's one thing when you have 3 days to prepare for. They had a month. I just expected a little bit more.
Yeah, you would have thought they'd handle the defense better.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better because there was too many unblocked guys.
4th and 19. Here comes Johnny Dingle as Bradford airs it out for the end zone. Jump ball incomplete, and WVU will take over on down. Guys, let's take a look at tonight's All-State Good Hands play of the game.
There are some good hands.
His longest career touchdown grab.
Well, as Pat, you said earlier, you can't throw it any better than that. I mean, you cannot throw it any better than that. We came into this game talking about Pat White, his great legs, and averaging 7 yards a carry and all that kind of stuff. But he's put the ball on the money when he's had open guys and sometimes when he hasn't had open guys.
Well, he's 10 of 19, 176 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and even better running the ball. I think he has a chance to win the MVP of the game.
I'd vote for him. He's got my vote.
We got a couple of candidates. As the ball carrier, Jock Sanders, is tackled for a loss.
Noel Devine has stepped up big in a backup role, which you love to see. You love to have guys come off the bench and play like that. This has been a team effort. Owen Schmidt, he's knocked a few guys around, made a nice run.
Let's give it to them all, Terry.
I love it.
Devine's averaging 9 yards a carry. Give him the ball some more, right?
And he's done nothing to hurt that average tonight. That's the ridiculous part of it.
He's averaging 9.1 tonight.
And you can't win the MVP award in the game.
That's a tough crowd.
Well, West Virginia's done it with so many different players, and certainly the guy underneath the center, Pat White, number 5, he's been responsible for a lot of it. But there's been a lot of other guys.
Taken down at the 35. We remind you and invite you to stay with us for the DirecTV postgame show. Chris, Jimmy, and Barry will talk about tonight's game. And I would imagine Coach Switzer doesn't like how this tastes so far.
He tried to slip out that marquee jet, but I don't think they let him.
We'll present the trophy and talk to the game's MVPs. And as we mentioned, there are a number of candidates for the Mountaineers.
How about, to my recollection, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, the only 2 college coaches who won an NCAA championship and then went on to win a Super Bowl.
They won several NCAA championships, both of them, several.
Inside of 3 minutes as Pat White is taken down at the 37. Well, OU came close in the second half. They made it a 2-touchdown game at one point, but in the last 4 West Virginia possessions,
the
4 touchdowns.
Longest drive was 6 plays. That's how explosive they were, right? 1 play, 79 yards.
And can you imagine, I mean, watching this West Virginia offense and how it's dismantled the Sooners. This team lost to Pitt in the backyard brawl. It cost itself a shot at the national
Pat White missed most of that game. He got hurt in the first quarter, didn't return, I think, about 2 minutes left in the ball game.
You're right.
That was the difference.
Not a coincidence there at all.
But, Pat, you're right. That highlights the importance of the quarterback position. It really does.
It's hard to stay healthy.
If you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance.
Iglesias running south to north and is tackled at the 15-yard line by Owen Schmidt.
Yeah, he broke another face mask. You see that? That's his 11th face mask.
Oh, Coach Stu. He's an interim head man. This is a night that Coach Stewart's going to remember for the rest of his life.
And don't you love the outpouring of emotion by the players towards the coach? I mean, that's special.
Everything was stacked against the Mountaineers at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. The loss to Pitt, the loss of their head coach. And they have come together brilliantly here in this first week of January.
That guy, he believed.
Yeah, he did.
He did believe.
He had us believing by the time we left that meeting. Moses Madu, the redshirt freshman, is across to the 30-yard line with just over a minute and change left tonight.
It's a great win for West Virginia. For Oklahoma, there's a better day ahead. That's what you do in football. You live for the moment, and when you're winning, it's fabulous. And when it goes the other way, you just kind of...
You can say what if for Oklahoma, too. If Sam Bradford didn't get hurt in that Texas Tech game, misses that whole game, if they can battle better there, maybe they're in a different bowl game as well.
At least to Colorado, an unranked team. Moses Madu once again for an OU first down.
But no one this year has jumped on the Oklahoma defense like West Virginia has jumped on it.
Got the governor.
Well, the governor addressed the team in practice during the week. Well, they're going to shut down the state tomorrow. I'm telling you.
We were there when the governor addressed the team, and Don Nealon, the longtime West Virginia coach who built this program, he addressed the team as well. And
double dip.
Those guys have bad intentions.
Don't get the governor. Just don't get the governor.
They got their defensive coordinator. Jeff Castile gets wet.
They should get Jeff Castile. He's done a great job. You talk about getting a team ready to go on defense and bringing pressure from a lot of different places.
And for the Sooners making their 6th BCS appearance since 2000, it has not been a successful BCS run for Oklahoma. And I'll tell you, you're not going to bring Coach Stoops out to the desert anytime too soon. He's had all he cares to see of University of Phoenix Stadium. Tonight is all about the Mountaineers. The underdogs have their day. Responding to the controversy of the last month, undeterred after the loss of their head coach and the inventor of their spread offense, Coach Bill Stewart, leads the Mountaineers to a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl victory. Let's send it down to Laura.
The only way to interview Owen Schmidt, of course, is bleeding, because this kid plays so hard. Owen, I know that you guys were the only people in the country that thought you could do this. Did you ever imagine 48-28?
Not the score 48-28, but I'll tell you what. I was watching ESPN today, and they showed a little thing about our game tonight in a poll, and the whole U.S. was covered in red, and the only state, the greatest state in the nation, was covered in blue, and that was West Virginia, and that's why we won this game. Overcame adversity, came together as a team, and that's why we won.
Owen, this is the last game you will be playing in a West Virginia uniform. The legend of Owen Schmidt, this is the final. How does it feel to go out like this? What does this win mean?
And you have no idea. Yeah, sorry.
What does it mean to you?
Sorry.
For what?
I love the state, and I love I got a chance to play here. And this is awesome. This is the way I pictured it. I asked the guys yesterday in our team meeting, I said, boys, I ain't leaving out without that $1.3 million trophy. And they, they promised me, and I can't thank these guys enough. After what happened, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm sorry.
Congratulations on a great game and a great career. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much.
Matt.
Well, Laura, thanks. And West Virginia's modern-day Bronco Nagurski showing his human side on an emotional night for the entire state of West Virginia. Do stay with us. The DirecTV postgame show is coming up from Glendale right after this.
Welcome to the DirecTV postgame show on Fox.
An inspired night for the Mountaineers of West Virginia. 48-28 victors over the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's send it down to Chris Rose on the field.
All right, Matt Vasgersian, thank you very much. Here to help us out tonight with the trophy presentation. First from Frito-Lay, their Vice President of Marketing, Ann McCurgy, and also the Chairman of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Dick Stemple. Dick.
It's an honor to present the 37th annual Tostitos Fiesta Bowl trophy on behalf of our 3,000 volunteers to the head coach, Bill Stewart, the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Coach, all your players are chanting out Coach Stu. It really was West Virginia against the world. Why did these kids out here believe?
Because they have the greatest chemistry, the best character, and I'll tell you what, the best coaching staff that hung in here, and most importantly, the best group of fans in America. That never, ever, ever quit believing. Thank you, one and all. To all you West Virginians, it's a great honor to accept this on your behalf. You've got a tremendous team, a great, great staff, a great group of super administration, the best fans ever in America, and it's a great night to be a Mountaineer.
Coach, I know that you stress team, but you are the first and only interim coach to win a bowl game this college football season. Step back on a personal level. You see the reaction of the kids and how they have embraced you over the last few weeks. What does it mean to you?
It means they're the best young men any coach could ever have. I'd follow them anywhere against anybody. We beat a tremendous football team coached by a great group of men. The University of Oklahoma is a tremendous football power. And to be mentioned in the same breath with them, we must come in and knock out the champ. Tonight, for Dick Stemple and every West by God Virginian in America, we got the champ.
That might have been the first time ever a coach and the chairman have high-fived. Congratulations. And a few quick words from you.
On behalf of Frito-Lay and Tostitos, Coach Stewart, you and the Mountaineers have inspired all of us. Congratulations.
It is time right now to award the individual honors. First, the defensive MVP. It goes to linebacker Reed Williams. Reed, you're an academic All-American. I got to say, you took Oklahoma to school tonight. How did you keep them off balance?
You know, we came out with a great game plan. You got to credit our coaches for everything. Coach Castile is a great man. Coach Steele, I go to war for you any day. I love you. And all these seniors, man, if you can play for those guys, you shouldn't be on the field right now. And the fans, we love you as much as you love us, baby.
Was there any doubt in your mind over the last few weeks, since you had a new interim head coach, that this team would come together?
I mean, if we didn't have, we came in with a new guy, you know, we didn't have a head guy leading us the way, but, you know, I think it gave us the opportunity to gel together and come together as a group, and I think we showed the nation that we did well, and we came out on top.
Congratulations. It is time right now to award the offensive MVP. More than 350 yards of total offense tonight. Quarterback Pat White. Pat, you're one of the undisputed leaders of this team. Was it your job to rally these guys together over the last few weeks?
Partly my job, but I mean, Coach Stu stepped in and did an excellent job. I think I speak for all the players when I say he needs to be our head coach at West Virginia.
Was this done pretty much to prove all these doubters wrong? People had said, listen, West Virginia, they lost their coach. They lost that game to Pittsburgh. They're not even going to show up.
No, nothing new to us. I mean, people doubt us all the time, but we work hard, we work as a family, and we're going to get the job done.
And real quickly, I know Steve Slayton, your roommate, you cook him breakfast every day. After winning this award, I think he owes you some waffles or something.
Yeah, Steve, you better be cooking me some breakfast sometime.
Congratulations, Pat. Real quickly, Dick, some closing remarks.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You played your heart outs tonight. Thank you for your effort on the field. Before we leave, I would like to thank Ann McCulchie and her Tostitos team in behalf of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl for everything that they've done for college athletics and for making our bowl game a family tradition. For every soul who is here tonight celebrating with us, may you have a safe and happy New Year.
Thank you very much. The West Virginia Mountaineers, your 2008 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champions. Congratulations, guys. Matt Vasgersian, back up to you.
Chris, thanks. And if you put your nose up in the air just right, you can smell the sofa cushions all the way from Morgantown. West by Gosh, Virginia, your Tostitos Fiesta Bowl champs. We'll be back right after this.